I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal. We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who will get the IRS off your back.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
Call Tax Solutions now. Time is running out. Call 800-296-9744. 800-296-9744. 800-296-9744. 800-296-9744.
Over 2.5 million airline passengers fly every day in the United States. Those passengers depend on reliable airplanes, and those planes need certified aircraft technicians. That's where you come in. We are the Aviation Institute of Maintenance, and we train tomorrow's technicians. We train our students hands-on with real aircraft, develop their skills, and prepare them for real jobs in the industry. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports the average aircraft technician in the United States makes over $62,000 a year.
The job opportunity is there. The money is there.
If you want to work with your hands, it's a perfect place for you.
Call 800-876-0097.
I'm very impressed with the AIM curriculum. The school's keeping pace with the demands of the industry.
The potential for growth is astounding.
At the Aviation Institute of Maintenance, we train tomorrow's technicians.
800-876-0097. 800-876-0097.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-281-4224. 800-281-4224. 800-281-4224. That's 800-281-4224.
You're listening to the Let's Talk Wheels radio network. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Matt Peralt and Mike Herzing.
News and notes segment for us here on another edition of Let's Talk Wheels. Mike Herzing and Matt Peralt. All right, Mike, let's start with the bad news and then go to the good news. What is going on here with Jeep and the Grand Cherokee plant in Illinois?
Well, the Cherokee and Grand Cherokee, they've got a plant. They've been closing a bunch of plants. But the Belvedere plant, they're going to close that down till the rest of October. And they closed it earlier this week. So it's going to be done. And they're going to lose. They have talked to this Stellantis plants in North America, which is basically Jeep and Ram and Dodge and Chrysler. They're lost 119,627 units of lost production. That's that many vehicles that are not on the road, not at the dealer. And they're talking about this chip shortage going to cost the industry about $210 billion with a B, and about 7.7 million vehicles globally. So that's a lot of vehicles that aren't out there. So that leads us into the other deal.
Well, hold on, but yeah. Just before we go to the cost, I have a question. So how do you make that up? $210 billion? What? What happens now? How do you make that up?
You don't. You of course, though, that there's some demand that will, as soon as they get the chips, I'm guessing right after the first quarter of next year, maybe mid first quarter, it'll start flowing them more and more and more. As that happens, they'll start running 3 shifts instead of 1 or 2 shifts. And a lot of these plants are down to 1 shift instead of 2. And then they can go to 3 if they have to. but they can do that and just catch up a little bit. But it's going to be a lot of people. They're looking for vehicles right now. It's not going to free up until after the first of the year.
120,000 units at an average price of what? $50,000?
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of money. That's Matt Peralt money right there, buddy.
Like just on the quick math, my calculator can't even go that high. I mean, I'm doing 120,000 times 50,000. My calculator doesn't even go that high. I can't even calculate how much money that is. That is an error message coming up from my calculator. That's how much money they're going to lose. That's a lot. Ridiculous.
Yeah,
they
should eventually make it up a little bit, and this is the chance they've got right now to not only slow down a little bit, to build some more plants, retrofit some stuff to go with more EVs. And some of that stuff, there's a lot of EV stuff going on. Ford talking about, they're investing, $11.7 billion or $11.4 billion. And General Motors is talking about how in the next few years they're going to double their profits because of EVs. Because GM has got a really, GM and Ford, it's really cool to see American companies. Of course, everything's global, but American-based companies doing really well in this EV thing. Usually we're the last ones to catch up. You know what I mean? Usually it's the last. But no, they're leading at things. Matter of fact, what's wild is Honda and Acura are going to buy some platforms from General Motors to build Acuras and Hondas on it. So it'll be GM building cars for Honda and Acura instead of the other way around like it used to be. And so that's going to be exciting. It's really a really neat time. It's by next year, it's going to open back up again, and we'll go back to normal. But it's going to take a while. This COVID stuff stinks.
So let's go to lack of obvious production, meaning lack of inventory. Thus, record vehicle prices and record monthly payments for new and used cars. New vehicle monthly payments are now averaging $614 a month, while used cars, Mike, are averaging $500 a month, according to Edmunds. What is going on?
Well, you got to figure the car companies are. If you only have a limited amount of chips, Matt, you're going to build the cheap car. You're going to build the expensive car that you make more money on. All right. They're going to build, and everybody wants SUVs and trucks right now. So those are always more expensive than the little Prius, whatever,
cars,
than the little cars. So, so you look at that now, the average price went from about $38,000, which I thought was obscene, the average price of a car being, transaction price, to $42,000. It's the average transaction price for a vehicle. I mean, are you kidding me? Because think of all the $19,000 and $20,000 vehicles that they sell, the Nissan Versas and whatever. And it's, Ford Focus, if you can find one, but that are left. But I mean, all these little vehicles, Kia Accent, a Hyundai Accent or something like that. Then you've got all these trucks that are selling for $50,000 and $60,000, $65,000. But this is really crazy. The prices have gone up $30 a month compared to the second quarter of this year. I mean, it's just gone up so much. But and like I said, you think you're going to save a lot of money. There's only 18% difference between the two averages between new and used. So it's almost better off if you can find one to get a new one.
Oh, without a doubt. Yes. No. Right now, buying used cars, if you have a choice between new and used, I definitely would be buying new right now, just from a cost perspective. But here's my question. So we have seen the death of the sedan, of the small vehicle. Now, there are still some sports sedans that are out there, and Kia's still making the Stinger, and Volkswagen's making the Passat, and there are still some sedans that are selling well, sports sedans more than anything. But when it comes to the average cost of a vehicle, do you see that changing all that much? Meaning and they'll come down a little bit, but once we start talking about prices, people stop getting sticker shock when it comes to some of these prices. It just kind of becomes the norm. Does it go back down?
I think it's going to have to go once we get supply. The days of 10,000 off sticker, on a truck. Right now, it's not that way. It's like $2,000 off sticker if you can get that. If you can get that, and that's a car that's the wrong interior and the wrong stuff that you want. But
that's going to come back once everybody has vehicles, because then everybody will start advertising again and all this stuff. Then they'll start working to have to sell. They don't even have hardly any salesmen anymore because people, they're not a salesman. They're order takers. Or they just talk you into taking whatever they have. I've got to have a vehicle. Well, this is what I've got. I went by a dealer just the other day that had 18 vehicles, new vehicles on the lot. And I remember when they had hundreds. And by now they're putting some used cars in certified pre-owned, almost used. But, it's also affected the rental car market and things like that because nobody are building rental cars. A good friend of mine, I haven't talked to him about 2 years, but he just got named interim CEO at Hertz, Mark Fields. Wow. He was the former CEO of Ford, and he and I have shared many margaritas. But that's a really tough business to be in. So they're going to have to replace all those rental cars that are gone. They're buying used. I mean, one of my friends this weekend is renting a car in Los Angeles, and he just picked it up. It had 90,000 miles on it. It's a rental car.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. In Vegas, right now, that's very common in Vegas. Very common.
That's unbelievable. Sitting there driving a 90. I'm going to go rent a car because I don't want to drive mine because mine's got a lot of miles on it. And the car you rent has more miles than you have.
Oh, yeah. And really, in the expense of it in Vegas, too, it is not cheap. Like, you're getting a 4-year-old vehicle and you're paying premium price for it. Like, they just don't have the inventory to rent cars.
Yeah, $120, $150. That used to be $39.95.
Yep.
Easy. That's if you're in Hawaii, you can triple that. But it's just, I mean, this is the weirdest time. I mean, I've been in this industry for 50 years, and it's never been this wild. They've got a lot of cool stuff coming, though, but still.
Well, it just, like, the inventory, I just wonder when it comes to rental cars, like, what happens in the next couple of months if the inventory doesn't pick back up again? What happens then? Do we just see this continue to get worse and worse and worse?
Probably not get worse, but it'll probably stay at least the same. People are just holding on to the old junkers that they have right now. People are now, instead of buying new, they're looking at used because that's what's raising the used car parts. There's a lot of people they're kicked out of the market right now. They just cannot afford it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're just, people said, okay, as much as I really need a car, I really got to do this, I'm going to do that. Let me fix the transmission or the power steering or whatever, get new tires and suspension fixes, spend $1,000 on my car or $2,000 on my car because I can't afford to go get anything else. And there's not anything for me to get. So people are having to make their changes. Dealerships are slammed in the service departments and they can't get parts either. So there's a lot of things going on, and it's a trickle-down effect. But there are people that will just chill for a while and then come into the market, and when they do, we're going to have some big sales the next couple of years. It's coming back,
look,
Matt.
This is crazy. So I'm going home for Thanksgiving, right?
Right.
And so I'm looking at rental cars in Thanksgiving, Wednesday to Sunday for Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. The cheapest price I can get right now for a 4-day rental car at home in Boston is $727 for a Ford Fiesta.
Oh my God.
$727 for 4 days for a Ford Fiesta.
Well, I can get you the senior discount,
That is what we're dealing with right now. It's unreal. Yeah. Renting cars right now it's like a very underreported deal that we're talking $150 a day plus tax for all these cars, and it's the bottom basement. You want anything that's even like remotely nice, like you want to buy, you want to drive an intermediate car, which used to be like, hey, I'll bump you up to the intermediate car. That is starting at $783 for 4 days.
Wow. Well, you better get going. I mean, you better find you something.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do, but my mom has a spare car that I think we're going to actually be able to use, but it's just absolutely crazy. So, all right, so we've got our automotive reviews coming up. We've got a great interview about the Jeep Grand Cherokee L. Stick around for all that coming up. It is Let's Talk Wheels right here on the Let's Talk Wheels Radio Network.
Where are jobs in radio given out? They're not given out on a college campus. No, they're given out in the real world at real radio stations. And to get a job, you need to know people. That's where Radio Connection comes in. Most schools train you on campus. Radio Connection gives you the opportunity to learn from professional mentors in real radio stations. They've put their private classrooms in these places so you can apprentice under professionals. And as you learn, you're making connections and gaining access to the people that are doing the hiring. This is not the promise of a job, no. But it is a promise to get you as close to the action and opportunities as possible. If COVID is a concern, no problem. You can learn from a radio professional via remote learning tools as well. This is education reimagined to keep you out of debt as you learn in real-world settings. Interested? Visit radioconnection.com for more information today. That's radioconnection.com.
In my opinion, with Denton Day.
I'd like to start with a riddle. What starts with the letter F and ends with a UCK? Fire truck. That's a middle school joke that I learned when I was the ripe age of 11 years old. Now riddle me this. How the fire truck does a stadium with a roof start a game with a lightning delay?
In my opinion, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Pushing the odds with Matt Peralt.
Caesars hiring Kenny Mayne to be a brand ambassador and a content contributor. And Kenny Mayne's been kind enough to join us here on the Progressive Guest Line. Kenny, Matt Peralt, how are you?
It's been called one of the biggest mistakes Caesars has ever made. But, I'm excited for it.
What's it like to now be linked back up again with Trey Wingo?
Right now, they kind of have us in slightly different orbits. Trey's doing what he's doing about the numbers and the football interviews. I'm out there making up the most absurd thing I can think of. I mean, we're like the other day, we found a young lady at the swimming pool who wasn't betting on football. She's never made a bet. And I was like, listen, they have air conditioning and gambling inside. Follow me. And then we take her inside. We teach her how to bet. She goes up and makes a play.
Did the woman win her bet?
No, sadly, as a thank you for helping, I bought them a money line on the Green Bay Packers, which was a sure thing.
Pushing the odds with Matt Peralt. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern.
Sports Map all night.
J.R. Smith. He has been cleared to join North Carolina A&T Aggies golf team. J.R. Smith going to get into any other extracurricular activities. Maybe get an on-campus job. J.R. Smith being the official of the Intramural Basketball League, scorekeeper, that could be possible. Maybe not timekeeper because we know he's not good at that, but there's other ones that you could do.
Sports Map all night with Bill Schmidt.
Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
You're listening to the Let's Talk Wheels Radio Network. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Matt Peralt and Mike Herzing.
Automotive review time. Mike Herzing will be alongside in just 1 second with his. I was driving a 2022 Volkswagen Tiguan this past week. The 2.0T SE R-Line Black is what I was driving, to be very specific. Now, this vehicle starts at about $28,000, a 2022 version, and this is kind of the Euro take on an SUV. And if you are somebody who's looking for a high-performance zoom type vehicle, this won't be your pick. However, this thing is nice. This thing is very sleek. It's got some very cool interior features. It's got some things that I think the kids, as they call it, the kids will like it. I think the kids are going to enjoy some of the tricks and little bells and whistles this thing actually has inside of it. I really do like the look of the vehicle on the outside. It's very, very sharp. The grille, the headlights, the logo right in the front, the forward camera. There's a lot of things that I like a lot about the look of this vehicle. It does have a third row, okay? Now, is it a big third row? No, it's not a big third row. But it does have a third row, and this vehicle comes in at just under $38,000, as all the tricks and bells and whistles you would want for this thing. It has some very nice features that I think it's better to actually sit in the vehicle to kind of really experience it, but it's got a decent-sized trunk when you drop down the third row. When you have the third row up, it kind of limits how much space is in the back. So if you're somebody who really likes a ton of cargo room, you might want to go with a bit of a bigger vehicle, maybe next step up with Volkswagen with their SUVs. But I thought it was an okay ride. I thought it looked, I don't know if I'd call it sporty, but, 184 horsepower, pretty much standard here for this vehicle, and I felt like it got through the gears very quickly. It's a very smooth, very comfortable ride, decent gas mileage on this vehicle. It's not particularly luxurious, but I did like it. I think when you're sitting in it, it feels comfortable, and it's got some really good sight lines. I found the infotainment system for Volkswagens, it's okay. All right, it's 10.3-inch digital display is nice. It's got a very nice sound system in it. It's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is really nice. I love that. That's great. It's got Wi-Fi hotspot, which is standard, which is really nice. I do find that Volkswagens from time to time, there is some problems with the telematics and some issues just getting it connected and keeping your phone connected. But, I mean, for the most part, it's very nice and very easy and very simple to use. You've got your standard automated emergency braking with forward collision control, which I really like. Lane departure warning with lane keeping assist, which is awesome. You've got your adaptive cruise control with sending autonomous driving mode. I didn't do much with that. I didn't drive that a ton. But from what I've experienced and what I've been told about that vehicle, people really do like the semi-autonomous driving capability this vehicle does have, and it's very safe. They feel safe when they go ahead and they do it. But I think this is I like Volkswagens a lot. I owned 2 Volkswagens myself. I had 2 CCs, so now they turned that into the Passat. I find it to be nice. I find it to be very comfortable to ride. It's a great family ride. Second row is very comfortable. A lot of space back there. I think this is a vehicle that if you want to get the R-Line, and I had the R-Line black, so you can get it souped up all the way to 38,000. Mine was about 34,000. The wheels, I really like the wheels a lot. Really cool 18-inch wheels. It looks really nice. You get your power-operated rear liftgate, which I think is really nice to have, something that you would need. You have a panoramic sunroof, which is also there if you'd like to upgrade. And you can upgrade to that if you would like to go ahead and upgrade to that. So, I mean, I like the Atlas Cross Sport and the Atlas more than this vehicle, but that might be too big or too expensive for really what you're looking at. So if you're not looking at a vehicle that has to be that big or that expensive, but you want an SUV and you like the look of Volkswagens, the ride, the feel of a German engineered vehicle, I think you're really going to like this vehicle a lot. And the price under $30,000, it's really nice. And it looks like a more expensive vehicle than it actually is, but I feel like you get your money's worth, right? It feels appropriately priced for what you're going to get with this vehicle, with some of the trims and some of the fun things that are inside of it. So I liked it. I think it's definitely worth the test drive. Mazda CX-5, the Hyundai Tucson, a RAV4. If you're in that, in that mode, if that's the type of vehicle that you're driving or looking to drive or want to get in, I think the Tiguan's definitely worth a test drive, getting behind the wheel and seeing if you like it as well. All right, Mike, what were you driving this week?
Hey, folks, this week I was driving the brand new 2022 Infiniti Qx60. Now, this is a midsize CUV/SUV. They've had it for a while, but they've got a total redesign for 2022. And oh my gosh, it is now probably my favorite midsize SUV. It is really a great vehicle. First of all, they've gone away from the CVT transmission. It's got a 9-speed. It's got a nice 295 horsepower, 3.5 liter V6. It runs great. But best of all, it looks good and it drives good. And the interior is gorgeous. First thing we got into it, my wife looks at it and goes, my gosh, this thing is awesome inside. And it really is. It's like I said, it's a total redesign of their 3-row midsize SUV. The styling is just exciting. It's sharp, but still simple. And the interior is much more premium than it was before. There's 2 or 3 different trim levels: the Pure, the Luxe, the Sensory, and the Autograph. How about that? There's 4 of them, actually. The one I had was the Sensory, which starts around $57,000. I've had people look at this and they went, this has got to be $75,000 because I've got a BMW X5 and it doesn't look near as nice as this one. It doesn't have the features. And I went, guess what? It's a lot less than that. You can load this thing up into the 60s with the Autograph trim, but massaging front seats, oh my gosh, they are so nice. Now the second row was buckets with a nice little center console in there. Other thing about the center console in the second row, you can lose everything down between the seats. That's okay. It's like a bottomless pit. It's gone. This thing has wireless smartphone charging that even works when your phone is in a case, which is really nice. Power liftgate, you can, motion operated. The one I had the 17-speaker Bose audio system. Really, really great. All right. Now, the one I had was all-wheel drive.
You can get it, and standard is front-wheel drive, but honest to gosh, spend a couple grand more and get the all-wheel drive. It is so much worth it because you're going to keep this thing for a long time. You know, these are one of those vehicles that last 300,000 miles, and so you're going to keep it for 10 years. You never know where you're going to go. It might be nice in the snow and the rain and the weird ice we've had, and, you know, Texas has 10-degree weather and things like that. So the weather's patterns are a little bit strange right now, so get something with all-wheel drive. This is, like I said, it really drives well on the highway. And like I said, the massaging seats are to die for. You can still tow about 6,000 pounds, so nice, you know, mid-size little camper, small camper, which is much better than the year before, the 2020s or I don't think they had a 2021 for this one, but my gosh, it really is a nice vehicle. I just can't say that enough. I'm just gushing about it because I can walk outside right now and see it, and I had neighbors say, "What is this? I've never seen it, and I absolutely love it." And I said, "Well, you'll have to go reserve one because they're not really at the dealers yet." But 3-row is great. The 3rd row, yeah, it's pretty tiny. All right, but it does fold down. If you can take the 2nd row seats and slide them forward a little bit, you have some room for the 3rd row. But really, it's just for kids more than anything else, and for every once in a while. But you can put that. It's just got a lot of room. It's about the same interior as maybe a Grand Cherokee, or like I said, BMW X5. Some of the Mercedes, some of the Lexus. Really is. You know, like I said, it can get it in 7-passenger or 6-passenger. The one I had was 6-passenger. By the way, it had heated and cooled seats. The 2nd row is heated seats. It has the safety. It has their good safety system. I think they call it Safety Shield 360, and it is an awesome setup. Now, you have to adjust it a little bit because it can be really aggressive, keeping you in the lane. But you can adjust it down so it's not, or if you can actually want the adaptive cruise control and all the blind spot monitoring and things like that. But you can turn off the lane centering, which is, to me, I don't really like that, you know, but some people really, really love it, and I don't. It has a stop-start system to save a little fuel economy. Every time I start it, I push the button so it doesn't do that. But nice vehicle. I mean, I really would highly recommend this vehicle. It has all the round view monitors. It's got the setup for back seats sensing and things like that. It's got setup where you put check the tire pressures when it gets to the right pressure. It honks the horn. All the neat little Nissan things. It's great. It's got an air purifier in it. All that. It's just the infotainment system is easy to learn, easy to set up, and it's very redundant. It has to have several drive modes, including a sport mode. All that stuff is really a cool vehicle. And so if you're looking for a mid-size SUV/CUV, you got to look at the new 2022 Infiniti Qx60. I promise you, you're going to really like this thing.
With a Bloomberg Business of Sports report, I'm Michael Barr. More than a dozen former NBA players have been charged in New York federal court. They're accused of taking part in a multi-million-dollar health insurance fraud scheme involving the NBA's benefit plan. According to an indictment unsealed in the Southern District, some names include Terrence Williams and Tony Allen. The FIFA soccer video games, which have sold hundreds of millions of copies worldwide, may cease to exist in their current form after their publisher said it was considering renaming them. Electronic Arts said that it was exploring the idea. The NFL says players' claims alleging injured players were given opioids and other painkillers to remain on the field is barred by federal labor law. That's what the league told the Northern District of California. The lawsuit was brought by NFL Hall of Famer Richard Dent, ex-QB Jim McMahon, and other retired players. And that's a Bloomberg Business of Sports report. I'm Michael Barr.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Learn how thousands of smart homeowners are investing about $1 to avoid expensive home repair bills. John, a former non-customer, said, "My air conditioner broke and I had to spend $1,900 to fix it." Jeff, a customer, wrote, "My air conditioner broke and I got a new one at no out-of-pocket cost." Mary, a former non-customer, wrote, "My heating system stopped running. I had to spend $3,000 to get a new one." Lisa, a customer, wrote, "My heater stopped working. I got it fixed at no out-of-pocket cost." For about $1 a day, you can have all the major appliances and systems in your home guaranteed fixed or replaced with HSC's home warranty coverage. Call now, and the first month is free. If the lines are busy, please call back. 800-814-5615. 800-814-5615. That's 800-814-5615. 800-814-5615.
You're listening to the Let's Talk Wheels Radio Network. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Matt Peralt and Mike Herzing.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Wheels, folks. Mike Herzing along with Matt Peralt. Okay, I talked about this section earlier. We've got Jonathan Weinert from our friends at Gates. Now, Gates has been around way longer than I have. And when I was a kid in the 60s replacing belts and hoses on my car, because you still have to do that, guys. Even with the 2015 model, you have to change the belts when they get to be 6 or 8 years old. This company is so big, they have now gone into motorsports and power sports. And I'm going to talk to Jonathan Weinert here. He's from Gates, and he's going to talk to us about some of the power sports goodies that you've got. Jonathan, welcome to Let's Talk Wheels.
Mike, thank you so much for having me. And actually, we chose this interview date on a very auspicious day.
Okay.
Actually, very coincidentally, because just an hour ago, we celebrated Gates's 110-year anniversary. This very day.
You don't look a day over 70, really.
Well, thank you. The makeup helps.
Yeah, but I tell you what, you guys, whenever you needed a belt that wouldn't break, that didn't squeak like crazy, whenever you needed a tensioner, whenever you needed hoses that actually fit, and you didn't want to go back to the original equipment, GM or whatever, because a lot of the dealers didn't handle that stuff. They just went to you guys. And it's so nice to see that you guys are now going to power sports because because all these units now are now water cooled. So there's hoses, you've got belts, and then you've also got the drive belts. That's a big deal.
Exactly right. The CVT drive belts, and our history with drive belts with the CVT belts. Actually, this year we're actually celebrating our 10-year anniversary. So it sounds way younger, way shorter than the overall Gates history. But this G-Force belt that we've been using in many race applications, including with 3P off-road, it's been 10 years in the making, and just in the last 2 years, we've launched a belt called G-Force Redline that has really been designed for racers, high temperature, high performance applications where racers need something that's super reliable that can last the whole Baja 1000. This is the belt that does it.
Yeah, well, they talk about that because I remember if you have a stock belt on anything, if you're pushing it pretty hard, or if let's say you're a hunter and you're out in the woods and you're pulling a trailer with deer corn or this or that, it's so easy to push it too hard and smoke the belt. Yep. But with your belts, my sons sell your belts, and they did a lot of testing for your company. Josh and Travis are talking about they can put your belt on, and even an idiot can't smoke it. You know what I mean? You can't kill these things. And it's sure saved a lot of people that are way out in the woods when they tear up a belt. That's pretty important, wouldn't you say?
Exactly. Yeah, we've tested our belts up to temperatures of 338 degrees Fahrenheit, and they hold up to those high temperatures without power loss. So yeah, the key thing is your belt doesn't break in these high load, high torque applications. And then the sort of the cherry on top is you get that high temperature performance without even power loss.
Yeah.
So it's been designed for these off-road environments, whether it's high performance racing or hunting or off-roading, duning. People go way out in the middle of nowhere in Glamis in these dunes, and in that type of application, could be life or death if your belt breaks.
Yeah.
And so we're really proud to stand behind this G-Force Redline belt and what it's offering riders and racers and workers as well.
Well, everybody uses CVT except for Honda, I think. And so when you get into the Kawasaki, you get into the Polaris, you get a Can-Am, any of those things. It's funny. I have some friends that have a bunch of Polaris, and they use it for off-roading for oil field. They go out in the field, and they're carrying a generator and a welder and all this other stuff, and they go out way out there and where they can't get their trucks, and they take these UTVs. And they've had belt problems. So I know my boys have used the belts on their stuff, and they're really good. But you guys handle belts, but what other stuff do you do for power sports?
So we do hoses as well. We've done water pumps for automotive,
right.
Besides belts, hoses, hydraulics as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then the water pumps. So quite a wide portfolio, but for power sports, most of our focus has traditionally been on the CVT belts.
Yeah, because I can tell you, it's hard to find hoses sometimes. It's real funny. I can always go to an auto parts store and find one of your hoses that fit right. I can actually sometimes go to the auto parts store, and they'll actually order the stuff for a Can-Am or a Polaris or something like that. And people just don't understand. Even I have a Gates belt on my Kawasaki Mule, and it's a diesel, and it takes a drive belt. It's shredded the drive belt. Of course, it runs the water pump. So I have to go and get a drive belt, and I got a Gates. It's so nice. And the coolest thing is, I know this is simple. I know, but I can look at your catalog, and it'll tell me the size of the belt, and I'll see my model, and I'll go, okay, I need this belt. I can go online, I can do anywhere. I can go to the auto parts store, I can go to O'Reilly's or Napa and say I need this 6446 or whatever belt, and they'll go, oh, okay, and we don't have it. I'll have it for you in 2 hours. Okay, from the warehouse. Or I've got it right here. It's so neat because sometimes that same belt works in an automotive application.
Yep. And speaking of finding the right belt for your machine, that's another thing that we've been working on to make it easier for customers. Is we now have a website, gates.com/navigates, NAVIGATES, and it's the place that you go to find you put in your machine details, and it'll spit out what belt do you need. And so we found that's been pretty helpful for our G-Force customers, since we are a replacement to the stock belt. So try to make it as easy as possible for customers to find the right belt and install the right belt. Because long belt life, it starts with installing the right belt that fits the machine.
Well, you're exactly right, and especially once these guys put bigger wheels and tires on it, but they may not change the clutching, so it puts more of a strain. Let's say just go 1 or 2 or 3 sizes bigger, not the giant wheels and tractor wheels and tires. Just go a little bit bigger. People don't realize what a strain it puts on that belt.
Exactly. Yep. And when the other thing that we try to educate customers about is picking the right belt for their machine. Of course, part of it is just the size of the belt. But we have 3 flavors of G-Force belts.
Oh, okay.
We have G-Force, G-Force C12, and G-Force Redline. Redline being the highest performance. And we typically recommend that if extensive aftermarket vehicle or engine modifications or turbocharging, if installing paddle tires or bigger tires, if that's been done to your machine, we always recommend go with the G-Force Redline. It can handle the higher loads and higher performance.
Oh,
but
sure.
We do offer 3 flavors, And those three flavors. Yeah, exactly.
I've had friends smoke a belt and the thing didn't have, because they'll buy it, then they'll get the little bit bigger wheels and tires, nothing giant, and maybe you do a little tuning on it, stuff like that, to take it out. And then on the second day, the belt's destroyed, and they're like, "Oh man," And so then they'll get one of your belts, solve the problem. But the OEM, the stock belts just can't handle a lot of crazy stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People do crazy things with these vehicles. Either they're using them for work, they're using them on the ranch, they're using them from the dunes, they're using them in the mud, they're using them on the racetrack. I mean, it's just they go everywhere. And CVT is so neat about that. But I can tell you, once you've shredded a belt, it's a nightmare to get everything clean inside that case. And then all of a sudden it's caught up in the clutching, and you're like, oh God, I wish this thing hadn't done this. And yours don't. That's the cool part. That's why I'm hunting you guys down. Mike. This is why I've actually asked to talk to you guys, because these things are so successful, and I know you all have worked for years and years to get these things right. I can't tell you how many belts my sons have gone through, and they work them for a few hours, and they write all this detail on where they were and what they did and what the vehicle is. Then they send them to your R&D guys. They inspect them. And they say, okay, now try this one. This is a little bit different. I mean, it's so important to do that.
Yes, exactly. And thank you for pointing to our R&D, because yes, with this G-Force Redline belt, it's been in R&D for years, and of course with a lot of great input from 3P Racing. Should I refer to them as 3P Off-Road?
That's it.
3P
same
Off-Road
thing.
Racing?
It's all the same. They're the same guys,
Yeah.
And all spins the same. But I've used your belts forever. I mean, the drive belts work good. Your timing belts for automotive and anything, they work well. I mean, I've seen motorcycles with your timing belts, and so it's just nice to have a company that everything fits.
Thank you.
I mean, you get this thing and you're going, oh man, this belt's too loose or it's too tight, and what's cool thing, if I go buy your belts, I can buy the tensioners and the idlers in a kit from you guys, which for an automotive or actually aftermarket, any kind of stuff, power sports, I can buy a kit with all the tensioners, everything I'm going to need to change. Here it is, all in one kit. That is so nice. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. Thank you for your business. And just speaking about the R&D capabilities. So I don't know if you realize, but the belts for these CVT belts that have been 10 years in the making, all manufactured in Siloam Springs, Arkansas.
Oh, so there we go.
Made in the USA. Our R&D facility based in Detroit. So people with a lot of automotive background are doing some of the testing on these belts. We of course have testing in Siloam Springs as well. We're situated here in Denver. That's our headquarters, where we were born 110 years ago. But it's sort of a three-way collaboration between Denver headquarters, the Detroit R&D, and then the Siloam Springs factory.
Yeah, it's great. So we can find this if we can go to Gates. I mean, I just love being able to go to the auto parts store and get quality stuff. They always have it. You guys have warehouses everywhere. You stock this stuff. I mean, it gets it anywhere right away. You can go to any of these nice performance off-road places and get the right belts. It's so nice, and I just want to say thanks. And now, where's the website again?
So the website is gates.com/redline. I think that's the best place to go. And on that page, most importantly, when you get a G-Force belt, we try to educate every consumer. Break it in, don't break it. Don't break it, break it in. We have a detailed technical tip on how to break in your belt in the right way to get the longest life out of your belt. It involves doing 2 heat cycles. Takes about maybe an hour and a half total. But the consumers will be rewarded with a much longer belt life when they break it in. So please visit the G-Force CVT belt installation break-in procedure
on Gates.com. Jonathan, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining Let's Talk Wheels today.
Okay, thank you so much, Mike.
All right, folks, that was Jonathan Weinert from our friends at Gates. Don't go away. Still more to come, including our weekly Classic Car segment with Jeremy Birnbaum from Classic.com. All of this, and more right here on the Let's Talk Wheels Radio Network.
Just saying it with Cole Thompson.
I read an article that infuriated me. The NFL is catching up to Ben Roethlisberger as this is the end. Did anybody else watch last season? Ben had 3 good games. Everything else, good receivers are bailing him out, great defensive play, solid enough offensive line. By the way, he averaged less than 5 yards through the air passing. He did that all last year. And now people are saying, oh, we're worried about
Mill Creek Golf Course is the Valley's leader for golfing fun with a practice range, short game area, and hole 55 bar and grill all on site. Mill Creek Golf Course features a friendly PGA professional staff available for instruction, along with 36 challenging holes designed by the legendary Donald Ross. Don't forget family fun night golf on Fridays and Saturdays for just $25. For details and tee times, call 330-740-7112 or go online to millcreekmetroparks.org. Miss an episode of By All Means, and you could miss a lot.
To the radio play-by-play voice and our buddy back from here in Youngstown, it is the voice Fitz. Everett Fitzhugh, my friend, how are you?
Man, it feels good to hear your voice again, Mark. Everything's going well, and definitely excited to be back on the airwaves briefly for here in Youngstown.
By All Means, Tuesdays at 5, right here on Western Reserve Radio and streaming live on westernreserveradio.com.
What it once was, but I still look at the USC job, though, and I still think it's a top 5 job in college football. I really do. The USC job, to me, is even more attractive now than it's ever been because of the new NIL rule. You're in Hollywood. If that can't sell a recruit to come stay home, I don't know what will. The fact that you can make all this money, that you can try and bring back the, quote, glory days of, like, Leinart and Reggie Bush on the sideline. Like, I truly believe if USC is done right, it could be Alabama West. Like, that's the type of program I think you could build there. But I can't sit here and tell you I know the right head coach for that program. I know it's not Bill O'Brien. You want a program builder, right? Don't hire the guy that single-handedly dismantled the Texans.
The Jake Asman Show, Saturday afternoons from 3 to 6 Eastern.
Are you thinking that it's time to start looking for a new car? Then go to automotivemap.com to see the latest auto news, find out about what's ahead for your favorite brands, and learn how much that new car will cost you. Automotivemap.com is your place to see reviews, check out the hottest exotic cars, read tales from the road, and get acquainted with the luxury automotive lifestyle. Into hot mods? Want to see the cars celebrities drive? Love a good restoration job? From off-roading to on-roading, Automotivemap.com has it covered. Visit Automotivemap.com today.
You're listening to the Let's Talk Wheels Radio Network. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Matt Peralt and Mike Herzing.
It's Let's Talk Wheels here on the Let's Talk Wheels Radio Network. So, your Texans are playing my Patriots, Mike. Did you know
Wow.
that?
Well, no, we're trying to get the number 1 draft choice, so let's let the Patriots win.
I think the Texans are going to be – I don't know. I think that game's going to be close.
That poor little quarterback, he's going to be like David Carr. He's going to be shell-shocked by the end of the year. I feel for
Davis Mills, yes.
Yes.
Davis Mills is going to have some problems. I'm not going to debate you.
I remember when the Texans had David Carr. He was such a talent, and he got sacked so many times, the guy was never the same. He just kind of went away. I feel sorry. And his little brother's pretty good, too, I tell you what.
Yeah, not great. All right, so we've got our automotive reviews that you guys can go ahead and if you miss any part of it or the interview, all on the Let's Talk Wheels Radio Network podcast. Plus, Mike has an interview with Jeremy Birnbaum every single week with Classic Cars, Classic.com. Mike, what are you and Jeremy talking about this week?
We're actually talking about the new Fox Body Mustangs, which was a really popular vehicle. and the prices on them have just gotten obscene. And so it's such a nice vehicle. So that's a very popular model, and you're going to find they built that body for 26 years, but it's the 79 through 86 models, and then the 87 through 93, those were all Fox bodies.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very
So you
popular,
guys
and the
can-
prices have tripled on them.
Ooh, all right. There you go. So you got that and more coming up on the Let's Talk Wheels Radio Network podcast. Go check it out wherever you guys get your podcast. You will find the Let's Talk Wheels Radio Network podcast with that conversation, the bonus audio with Jeremy Berenbaum and Mike Herzing. For Mike Herzing, I'm Matt Peralta. We're back next week. Same place, same time. But Let's Talk Wheels here on the Let's Talk Wheels Radio Network.
You're listening to Western Reserve Radio, WRDB, The Scourge, a part of the Sports Map Radio Network.
Sports Radio 1240 and Western Reserve Digital Broadcasting have combined to bring you the Sandrock Concrete High School Football Game of the Week.
Cappy stood up, drive through a defender, touchdown, DC Cappy.
Listen every Friday night starting at 6:40 for the best in local high school football action.
Under pressure, we're going to get the serve.
Western Reserve Digital Broadcasting and Sports Radio 1240 together, bringing the Valley all the best high school football action all season long.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take one.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
Miss an episode of By All Means, and you could miss a lot.
Mark, you're 100% right. He does not get enough credit around the league. He gets, obviously, Coach Calhoun and the assistants and the rest of the players here at YSU know how valuable he is. He is right now their best player on the floor, hands down.
By All Means, Tuesdays at 5, right here on Western Reserve Radio and streaming live on westernreserveradio.com.
Mill Creek Golf Course is now open. Experience the Donald Ross Championship design of both courses, where you can book a tee time online at millcreekmetroparks.org. Mill Creek features a newly remodeled golf shop, new cart paths, and is a Callaway certified club fitting facility with demo days. The PGA professional staff is now accepting golf outings and leagues. For more information, call 330-740-7112 or stop by and see what all Mill Creek Golf Course has to offer you. It's time to kick back and listen to the sports page with your host, Pat Lucia, right here on Western Reserve Radio. You can call the show at 330-707-4202 and tell everyone what's on your mind in the wonderful world of sports. Now, here's your host, Pat Lucia.
Saturday morning sports page, Pat Lucia, Dave Clark, Tamaron Smith. Gentlemen, back from a day off, or a week off, I guess, days, weeks, whatever. We've got a lot to talk about in the wonderful world of sport. It is the Saturday morning sports page. If you would like to get in and talk sports, it's 330-707-4202. And we do the show every Saturday morning here on Western Reserve Radio. So if you'd like to get in and talk sports, by all means, give us a buzz. But it is football season, probably the NFL getting very interesting. Also, there's the Urban Meyer fiasco that Urban kind of missed the boat on. We talk about Urban. We'll get a little bit about that. We got to get to the pros. A lot of good pro games. The Thursday night game, Russell Wilson out with a finger issue. We're not sure exactly what it is. I believe they think it could be a torn tendon.
Yeah, he had surgery already.
He had the surgery. Dave Clark knows more about this than I do. I just had heard that they were talking about it yesterday. But
yeah, then he went through the surgery yesterday evening.
He went it yesterday evening, and what did they basically?
6 to 8 weeks, probably.
He's out 6 to 8 weeks, so it is now the Geno Smith. Geno played pretty good coming off the bench. I thought he played really good. The interception, unfortunately, I don't believe was his fault. The receiver fell down. He had already released the ball. Then the receiver fell. So it was a deal where the receiver needed to be where the ball was, and it was just a bad situation. The receiver seemed to get caught on his own feet, sort of to speak. But anyway, Geno will now be the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. I think they need to be focusing more on their defense than anything else. That game was a little disturbing as far as watching the Rams just pretty much do what they wanted to do offensively on that Seattle Seahawk defense. And now you have to wonder whether or not Seattle's going to be able to even get in the playoffs in that division. We'll have to wait and see. They're 2-3. The other big game in that division, we want to talk to that, is the game San Francisco 49ers sitting at 2-2 will take on the undefeated. And the only undefeated team left in the NFL is the Arizona Cardinals. So here was the discussion about Arizona didn't finish good last year, conversation about, well, are they headed in the right direction? And now they're off at least early to the races with a 4-0 record. And if they do beat San Francisco this Sunday, which is at 4:25, then obviously they'll take kind of a lead in that division, 5-0. They took the Rams to the woodshed, though, the week before, which was a little disturbing because I thought the Rams were really a good football team. But
and I still think they
are. But are the Cardinals that much better?
I don't know about that much better. And I just think that sometimes after a big win, it shouldn't happen, but it does. The emotion, what you went through, accomplishing what they did, because they took the Bucs to the shed for sure. They did what they wanted to do, and then coming to this game, where you may think this would be an easier ride, and it wasn't. And I don't think they were ready to play. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't.
They didn't look the same to me.
What do you think, Tamron?
I agree with Dave. It was. I didn't think it was going to go that way, but it was. It happens even to the best teams. NFL, you got to come prepared every week to play, and that was kind of a letdown after that big game. And they were at home. No, they went to Arizona.
No, they were home.
They were at home. Yeah,
that was a home game. That's why I was even surprised.
Yeah.
But it was. It happens, man. It happens.
Yeah.
So to think that, to think that it doesn't happen, it'll be misleading the public to say, hey, man, these guys don't come to play 17 games a year, so they're going to drop one.
Oh yeah.
17 games is obviously a long way.
Oh yeah, that's long. That's why when you think back in the past, to see the Dolphins win every game, see New England to go 18-0. Get all the way to the Super Bowl, and then they did lose. Even if they did lose, that's a great accomplishment to be able to come every week and win, no matter what. Even when they had down games, they came through. That is tough to do.
It's more impossible than it is possible because you have to be ready each and every game, and sooner or later, the human nature has let down. It's just we can't continue to week after week after week to press that many times, especially at a professional level where it's that close of a competition. Seems like every week, one or two plays make the difference in every game. So I think Arizona's going to complete the deal and go undefeated. I don't see that. Even it's amazing. Think about the Jets game this past week. Nobody had them winning.
No.
And they went out there, Game that took it to them a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
got the dub, and here we go.
Yep.
It's NFL.
Look at their counterparts. The Giants were down 11 points against the Saints at New Orleans. A lot of people really didn't think the Giants could go down there and win. And being down 11 points, the defense is really not playing good. I got to listen to the game coming back on Sirius Satellite Radio. And obviously, I still think that Carl Banks does best job for color commentating. I think and Bob Papa does play-by-play. Howard Cross is down on the field. So those guys are just, I still think Carl Banks should be national TV because he doesn't over-talk. He gives you good information, precise point, and move on. But that'll never happen, probably. But bottom line, they were kind of upset with the Giant defense because they were letting the New Orleans Saints come down and score. But the Giant defense, I guess, basically figured it out or did something, made a couple stops. Yeah. Giants got the ball, hit on a 2-point conversion, kicked the field goal. Saquon Barkley makes a nice run for the touchdown. And then for the overtime, they just got the ball. And again, Saquon Barkley just ran it in from the 6 or 5 yard line, and the Giants win a game that probably when you're listening to those guys talk, and I'm listening to it, I thought, man, this is not looking good for the New York Giants, but they definitely found the way to pull that one out of the hat. Then, that opens up the door to the game they have this week at 4:25 on Fox, which we're getting on TV. They're taking on the Dallas Cowboys at Dallas. We'll get to that game. The Giants are getting, I believe, 7 points.
Right.
Some people are thinking that's going to be closer and saying take the Giants on the points. Some of the experts out there they seem to be never right anyway. But you've got a good game with the Giants and the Cowboys. Can the Giants go 2-3 and then ultimately they could get right back into that race? That's the ironic part and the best part about football is as bad as the Giants have looked at time and as good as Dallas has looked, the Giants, if they can pull a game out in Dallas, you can't rule it out. They're only a game out. And you would think, well, how can that be? Because the way, again, the Giants have been playing in Dallas Dallas looks like the real deal.
Yeah.
I mean,
I still think they got some holes in that defense.
Yeah.
That offense is like a well-oiled machine.
That offense is just dangerous.
Yeah, but that can they continue that pace against every team?
But that's the NFL.
Yeah.
NFL is every team is going to have a hole or two somewhere.
Yeah.
And how you mask that as well as you can in order to succeed on a larger level is what the complexity of the situation is always going to be. Dallas has because they're America's team, people seem to know a little bit more about those guys, and those holes are a little bit more developed. And also their linebacker situation has been trashed for years because due to injury, not really skill. Mm-hmm. These guys are a little bit more healthier this year than previous years.
Yeah, and I guess that's why they let Jalen Smith go.
Yeah, they cut,
which was surprising, but
and he's been healthiest of the group.
Yeah,
he's
been the healthiest guy. They let him go. I think
he went on the street for
Green
12
Bay.
Green Bay.
Signed with Green Bay already.
He was on there. He said about 10 hours. That was it.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, everybody kind of when they let him go, I just figured, okay. Now, once his phone was probably blowing up as soon as the news got out because he wasn't. He wasn't going to be unemployed. I thought maybe the Giants would go get him because the way the Giants played on Sunday, their defense is still a strange defense because they really have some lapses, as Carl Banks would say. But they did make the stops when they needed to make the stops. And the offense, Danny Dimes, their quarterback, is, as Phil Simms said, is the best player on the team. And I kind of agree with him. I'm surprised.
Better than Saquon?
Yeah, right now he is. What he's doing with the team, he is. Now, Saquon could ultimately take it over. Saquon is probably a game.
Into shape.
Yeah, he's getting into shape. Now, two or three games down the road, once you could see Saquon starting to get in shape. I mean, he's getting in game shape.
Yeah,
he was not in game shape with that injury.
What year is Jones in? Daniel Jones.
Is it third or fourth? Yeah,
third or fourth.
Might be third.
Yeah, I think it's probably his third year.
Yeah, he's playing well.
You know what I find amazing? All right. I'm a Dolphin fan. Tua's only played 9 games, and they decided what his career should be. A guy like Daniel Jones, who's complained about Daniel Jones getting out of there. I'm not talking about, some people complain about his play, but not let's get rid of him. Look at all the Deshaun Watson fire that's going along down there in Miami. Mm-hmm. I mean, Deshaun Watson you don't even know if Deshaun Watson is ever going to play football again. Right. And it's a conversation constantly about are they going to trade for Deshaun Watson? Dude got 22 charges.
Or is it 24, 22?
He got
whatever.
20, right.
It's a lot.
He got 22 charges, none of them criminal.
Yet. We don't know that, but you're right. None as of yet.
Look, they want some money. They ain't talking about they don't want to feel no. Look, you cannot get money from somebody who's going to be broke.
Yeah.
It's because if somebody's suing and they say, you know what, I wanted to be criminal, and the criminal state come out, so he ain't making the money's gone at that point.
Right. If he gets
the money is whatever he made is what he made. That's all you can get. But if it's civil, hey, you can still go make you some money, and you can owe me for the next 10 years. And you can, you're gonna all 22 of us, but you're gonna pay us all over time.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't. If anybody believes this is a criminal, it would have been criminal.
Well,
it's been a year. It would have been criminal. This is not freaking R. Kelly, man. It would have been criminal.
The only thing they're saying is the FBI, they're continuing to investigate it. I don't know where all this is going. Yeah. I guess getting back to the original premise, I said the same thing a few weeks ago, was I don't know how they could even talk about doing anything with Deshaun Watson because you don't know what his future is. I don't know what it is. We're waiting for the criminal justice and the civil justice to run a course, and it could be into next year. I mean, if people think, they're going to have Deshaun Watson figured out this year, they may not. There's a possibility. Right. We're talking next year.
Now, I don't know if it's going to be too deep into next year. It'll be before I think before the draft, because it's the FBI. It don't take long to investigate. They just haven't.
I don't know. I know what you're saying. I could never figure out
if there was a lot of fire here. If there was truly rape.
Yeah, rape or sexual assault
stuff.
That's where
he would have been charged by. It's been a long enough time.
I would agree. I
definitely think money.
But this is a financial situation. Yeah. These girls see. Hey man, I can get a piece of that. Let me get a couple 100,000, a couple million, and they, but you can't.
But he won't settle either.
You can't.
Right, that's what's going on right now.
Get that from someone that's you could probably and you don't have to go to prove beyond a reasonable doubt in a civil court. You just got to prove
preponderance of
evidence, right. Which is. Come on, man. Right. He touched you.
That's a tough.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Did he touch you? Look, he got all these other people saying he touched. So apparently you touch people. So you're going to pay a civil cost as opposed to criminal charge. You got to prove that he actually why come you didn't come up before this? What took you all those questions come into play at that point. But just the preponderance of he did something. He may have groped you. He did all that other stuff. Well, just he gonna be known as him and the guy, the owner from the Patriots. They like to play around with the girls in the.
And see, that's what Jay Glazer, to your point, had said that he didn't feel that Tua's been injured, banged up a lot, so you can't get a true feel that whether he could be a franchise. Or not, but he said the thing about the Watson stuff. If you're gonna do it, just go ahead and do it. Right. He said because what he said, it may not be no criminal. He may not play next year. Let's say he don't play, but the following year he will. And you got a situation in Miami where Tua is hurt. Will he be back and healthy enough to play this year? Will he be the guy you need? You'll have that opportunity. You go and get Deshaun Watson, you'll have him there. on now. Would Tua be a part of that deal? That might would happen. But if it was some
Well,
kind of way,
that's a good question. What if they make the trade and they trade Tua to Houston?
It'll be Tua and some draft.
Then Tua can play right away.
But it may not be Tua and some draft pick because they do want that corner. Xavier Howard. It may be Xavier Howard and some draft picks.
Yeah.
Because he's a top 5 player in his position, and you get a top 5 player in a position, and you get a couple draft picks. That's what you're kind of looking for. In season, I don't really see it because NFL don't really make these trades in the in season like this because they do it out of need as opposed to
usually they don't.
You may need somebody, but you don't. It's hard to acclimate a whole corner and a whole quarterback during the situation. But again, my main point was Danny Dimes goes and get 3 years to figure it out. Tua get 9 games. Yeah, it don't make sense to me.
Well,
now see, I agree that the guy from the Chargers played well. Now I was watching Tony Gonzalez story this morning. Right, didn't play well his first 7 games of his career. But end up getting rookie of the year because he started catching the ball. How many guys in the NFL, if they were cut after or they were traded to another team, aka Drew Brees, and many other guys like that, get a couple years and they don't quite figure it out and go somewhere else and be a stud?
Jim Plunkett.
Think about it. I mean, it's been consistent. What is it about certain guys that get 9 games? How does it? I can't figure for life.
That basically reflects directly on the team, because right now,
they gave freaking Ryan Tannehill 7 years. You can't. No, that team has been patient with other people. Why?
Pressure.
Why does? I mean, we didn't have Ryan Tannehill.
Financial pressure. Something is going on.
Who was the GM of Miami? You should know. You would know. I don't know. Is this the same GM that had Tannehill, or is it different GM?
No. Greer had this guy.
Right.
Tua. Your boy Tannenbaum had Tannehill.
Mm-hmm. And that might have been your difference
right there. He might have been more patient to wait.
But it's not. Brian Greer is not impatient. The GM is not impatient. It's the fan base. It's like, why don't we got to get rid of this guy? We ain't got, all of a sudden it's like we got to put pressure to get rid of this guy. And what's the answer? They want to put in they said forget Jacoby Brissett. No, they skipping over him. They saying putting some, I forget this other guy's name, the third string quarterback.
No, they're putting want to go the third string.
The third string guy, Sinnett.
Guy.
Oh, okay.
Something Sinnett. I'm like, are you out of your? Did you watch this guy play in the preseason? He's a bum. He's a bum.
Well, they're going. See, here's your question too with Miami. You're 1-3. Yeah. Your season is starting to go.
And we got Tampa Bay this week.
Yeah, but the problem, I think part of it, Miami, is when I say impatient, I don't mean like impatient that he can't wait.
Yeah.
But and like you said, it's not really him. It's the fan base. That's the problem. When you think about Tua, go to Alabama last year, injured.
Right.
Gets to the pros, injured. Comes back, injured. When guys start getting that label, especially at that leadership position,
but he never he didn't get injured until this season. He was already hurt and he was recovering from that injury.
And I wouldn't have, if I drafted, nope. There
I
you
wouldn't
go.
have played, but they did play.
Yep, I would.
But he didn't. They didn't take him out because of his injury. They took him out because of poor play.
Right.
How do you not have a preseason? Okay, and you give him the same, like they say. Well, because of due to the Chargers, you see the receivers they got you see the offensive line they got for the Chargers. That's the difference. Yeah. If you can't block for a guy, there was times when we played the Bears in the preseason. Whoever Mac was in front of, Woodside. He just took him to the woodshed. He was back there so fast. I don't care who you are. If pressure's on you that quick, you can't perform. If you have one of the worst lines in the NFL, and then you say a guy is not performing, well, look at the line.
That's the reason I thought they should have picked Herbert because of the line.
Not only that, secondly, I understand we need a pass rush, but Najee Harris was sitting there at 22. When we moved back to 17, Najee Harris was sitting there. We've never had a running game since the Zonka era.
Ricky Williams, maybe. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Ricky Williams. Ricky Williams.
That's it. That's the last time.
But we didn't have a quarterback. We had Jay Fiedler and all those bums.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So if what we talking about, a quarterback with a running game. Marino begged for a running game. They gave Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Come on, man. You don't have to throw a skyhook. No, wait. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Sammy Smith. Yeah. Those were the list of guys that they gave Marino. That they said, okay, these guys are the answer. No. And then all of a sudden, let's go fast forward. Ryan Tannehill, he goes where he's not the best player on the team anymore, or the quarterback don't have to make all the plays. He go play with Tennessee now. He got that monster sitting behind him that's taking up, making people get 8-9 people in the box. And you get Julio Jones, and you got AJ Brown sitting outside. Yeah. Why can't you be good now? Ryan Tannehill should be optimal. This is the best you can get from him. But again, when it comes down to making plays in crucial situations, he's not a playmaker. And that's why Tennessee won't ever get over the hump, because Tannehill, he's good enough to win games. He's not good enough to get by guys like from Kansas, Mahomes and those. You can't get by those guys just being a game manager. You got to make a play or two. Mm-hmm. Or that monster behind you got to control the game so much to where as though, they can't come back. But he got a monster behind him. Derrick Henry is the real freaking deal. And they can put 8 men in the box if they want to. And they need to put 9 because that guy's coming.
Well, when you look at, again, Tennessee, but now you start looking at Tennessee, they're sitting at 1-3 also. No, 2-2. Yeah, they're leading the division.
Yeah, that defense is
but
really
they got beat by the Jets, beat them last week, 27-24 OT. They sit at 2-2. Houston and the Colts sit at 1-3.
Now think about that. Those are ones that lost to the Jets. That's a bad loss for Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. And it is.
That's a bad loss. Ryan Tannehill need to make more plays. Ain't nobody calling for his job. That's my point. Why are they not calling for Ryan Tannehill's job? Because I don't care, man. I could go out there and have AJ Brown and Julio Jones and Derrick Henry behind me and do well enough.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Ryan Tannehill's backup is Logan Woodside. Where are you going to go there? I mean, seriously, I know what you're saying. Logan Woodside played for Toledo. He's 26 years old. He was a 7th-round pick at 2000. He wasn't even drafted. He's drafted by Cincinnati.
It was depleted this last game, though, Tennessee. They didn't have A.J. Brown or Julio.
Yeah, I think they both got in.
Yeah, they both was out.
So that means
limited offense.
So think about that. Limited offense. Now you back to playing where you got the running game. Derrick Henry gave you 160, right? He had 160 and 2 touchdowns.
Last week.
Derrick Henry he had like 160 and 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. So the running game was there. My quarterback didn't make enough plays. So being a guy, you talking about taking to the next level, if I got a receiver down or two, maybe I can make enough plays throwing one game in the whole season to where as though we can get a dub against the Jets.
Yeah.
So to me, that calls for your job more than you know what Tua's record is as a starter that in the game he finished? He's 7-3.
Yeah.
He's 7-3.
He's hurt though, and they
call him for his job though. I don't understand. To me, I don't understand those things, man. Other guys
but it's more the fans.
It's
though,
the
right?
fans. See, that's the same thing in New York. Getting a little bit back to.
They were nasty to him.
They didn't want. A lot of the fans were screaming and yelling that Daniel Jones should have never drafted him.
Mm.
And
once they drafted him, they ain't say they're gonna be behind. They was behind him. They stayed behind him.
Not really. No.
No.
No, they weren't.
Not a fan.
Believe me, not. No. When he was fumbling the ball and turning it over, those New York fans were screaming bloody murder. They needed to make a change.
Yeah.
But the difference is Dave Gettleman, the GM, is latched to Daniel Jones, and people are saying this year, it's if Gettleman goes and Daniel Jones isn't we're not giving him another year, one more year of turning it over. Daniel Jones and Dave Gettleman are both out of town in Giant fans' eyes. Now that's up to Meyer, the owner. But no, the New York Giant fans were never really behind Daniel Jones. Believe me.
Yeah, he was on the front of New York Times. And all of them, but not for the good reasons.
Yeah,
they used to be killing him.
We got to take a break. That's the music. We got so much to get to today. We'll get there Saturday morning sports page. Right back after this quick timeout.
Mill Creek Golf Course has been the Valley's leader for golfing fun since 1928. It features 36 challenging holes designed by the legendary Donald Ross and was voted a top 30 municipal facility by Golf Week in 2012. The Mill Creek Golf Shop is a certified Callaway Golf custom fitting center and it is stocked with your favorite golf apparel and accessories. Mill Creek Golf Course is now booking tee times for this year's golf season. Please call us at 330-740-7112 or online at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
Mill Creek Golf Course is the Valley's leader for golfing fun with a practice range, short game area, and hole 55 bar and grill all on site. Mill Creek Golf Course features a friendly PGA professional staff available for instruction, along with 36 challenging holes designed by the legendary Donald Ross. Don't forget family fun night golf on Fridays and Saturdays for just $25. For details and tee times, call 330-740-7112 or go online to millcreekmetroparks.org.
Saturday morning sports page right back at you, 330-707-4202, talking NFL sports, football mainly today. Real quick, Urban Meyer, it seems to me the main criticism, I know the whole thing in the bar and the lady and whatever, but a lot of your experts are saying that wasn't the problem with the team. He didn't go back with the team after the loss. He stayed in Columbus. Mm-hmm. And that, I mean, coaches don't do that. The last coach that did that was Bill Parcells. They said that the coach is supposed to go back with the team and, you know, he should have coached. It's a young team, and he's getting a lot of flack for not going back with the team more than the other thing. And then to get caught on that whole video thing. But the point is, I don't know if I mean, it was just a bad look for Urban.
What has Urban done consistently?
You mean as far as
jumping ship?
Right.
Right.
That's what he do.
And I even think it's planned.
Ship.
You think he wants out?
Yeah, that's a good way to get some
fire started.
Yep. He didn't make it real bad.
Obvious. He didn't make it obvious.
He was able to come back and say, but I really think
you think he wants out?
USC.
Yeah, there you go.
USC is on the horizon.
The Trojans.
What
College
the heck
football. I
come on,
control
man.
these young athletes. I control them.
Man, he can't. He
I
said,
really
well,
believe that.
he thought he could go to the NFL and control a situation like you do in the pro. I mean, like he did in college. Come on.
What was his first complaint when he got to the NFL? I hate this free agency stuff. That's the first thing they said he said. That's part of the NFL. You should know that before you go. And guys come and go.
You know, and another thing he said that made sense to me. Everybody is like Alabama. It's like playing Alabama every week. Really? Really? Oh, you didn't think they see this is what I tell my kids at East over there. If you think you're good enough to perform well in an all-star game, then you should be able to go to college. Because that's all college is a high school all-star game. Because the best of the best go. Now, if you think you're good enough in college to perform well in a college all-star game, you can go to the pros. Because that's the best of the best. And if you're not the best of the best in urban, you're going to get the best of the best. And it's going to be some guy like freaking Aaron Donald who's going to be 10 times better than your left guard. And he's going to put it on him for a whole game. And you're not going to be able to stop him. You're going to figure something out with your and you got a young quarterback. He don't know what he's doing out there.
No, Lord.
He's trying to figure it out. And you got a young team. And yeah, you got it's more than Alabama out there because I don't know who they played so far. But he be getting his lunch handed to him. And he ain't used to getting his lunch handed to him.
Yeah.
He used to be in
they lost to the Bengals. It was 0-4. Let's look at, real quick.
The Bengals are good. Look at
Burrow
got it going.
Good.
Burrow got it going.
And they was competitive in that game. They're
very competitive.
Yeah.
They should have actually were up
That's
14-0. That's
why I understand it. It'd be different. They just get blown off.
But
They're competitive.
No, it is the NFL.
Yeah, and
14 points ain't good enough to win in the NFL no more. You got to score. Once you get to about the 24, 27 threshold, you got a chance to lock that up. Even if you score those points early, you got a chance to lock a team out. Because 14 points in the NFL. Look at the Raiders. They came back. It was real pressure in that Monday night game for the Chargers to score another touchdown to make it 21.
Yeah, they made it right.
21-14. Because the Raiders came back and if they didn't get stopped that time, they were going to go and tie the score up. And 21-21 would have been a different outcome.
Oh yeah.
Than
Then 24-14 was what they ultimate was the final.
Yeah.
On that. Now for your information, Jacksonville lost to the Texans 37-21, lost to the Broncos 23-13. The Cardinals beat them 31-19. Bengals lost. They lost to them 24-21. So they've been in all the games. I mean, they've been competitive. It's not like they've been getting blown off the. Right. And they have the Titans at home this week.
That monster Derrick Henry, and they're gonna get them wide receivers back.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Just Julio's not back. AJ's back.
I don't care what nobody say, man. Derrick Henry to me is the most dominant player in the NFL. Because when he get it going, See, what's his name from the Rams? The D tackle from the Rams. Aaron Donald is the most dominant defensive player, but you can't get it going. All you gotta do is turn around and hand it to him. You get it. Aaron Donald has to create more of a situation, so he can't be as dominant in my eyes than the running game. Because the running game, once he get it going, he control everything.
Do you think he's more impactful than Lamar Jackson?
Absolutely.
I don't know about
Absolutely. that. Lamar, situational, it seems like he can't get it. He has to have the threat of him throwing the ball consistently for him to be great. Derrick Henry is controlling the line of scrimmage. He makes you put 9 guys in the box every time especially if he get it going.
What do you think, Dave?
Oh, that's a hard one for me.
Who do you think? If it's down to Lamar Jackson or Derrick Henry, who's?
When you game plan both of them, you game plan to stop those guys.
But you see, the thing I think,
because he's in open space too much.
Man, Lamar Jackson he's got to be an absolute nightmare for.
Oh, I'm talking about if you're talking about just running the ball.
But even like he can throw it.
He can.
He's not the greatest passer.
But he's not been. To me, he's not been consistent enough in the passing game to make him. Absolute. I'm talking about being an absolute unstoppable force.
I think he can. He gets his. I
don't know how they stop Derrick Henry every week. I don't know how.
When teams stop him?
Yeah, when they stop, I think he just don't get enough carries.
Yeah,
I think that's what it be for me. Derrick Henry don't get enough carries sometimes for him to be as dominant as he should be. Lamar Jackson touched the ball every single snap.
Yeah, he does. But
the thing I think they what was it they said that with Derrick Henry, defenses have to get penetration. Because he's a guy that is a monster like Marshawn Lynch was, but the difference,
once you get going,
Marshawn Lynch was quicker, and Derrick Henry, once he gets his speed going, it's a bad day for him.
Here's Derrick Henry's. Let the numbers reflect this. Derrick Henry, first game of the year, Cardinals, he had 17 carries for only 58 yards against the Cardinals.
What was the score though?
They lost, obviously.
Yeah, I think.
They got behind in that game.
Yeah, that's another key. You want to get up on them so you can eliminate his presence.
See, that's where
17
sometimes
carries, man.
But sometimes that's
why he didn't get the carries.
Why he's not that impactful is because if you can get up on him.
That's the same thing with Lamar. If you get up, you got to throw the ball. His game ain't the same, right? If he's relegated to having to pass
all the time,
he's not the same guy.
Right, it's hard. It's harder for him.
Yeah, he's not. If you put him,
that's why this last time when they played the Chiefs, he was a lot better because they were in the game the whole time.
Right.
They didn't go down 14. Excuse me.
No.
They didn't go down 17 instantly.
No.
Yeah.
They stayed in.
That's why it was more impactful in the game.
And only
so it's the same difference.
Only thing I say would be different is it does take away from his game, but because he's a quarterback and he's mobile and round, any play.
That's what
he can break it open.
See, I see him.
Because he touched the ball.
Of all, I'm not saying Lamar Jackson ain't a player.
No,
I know you're not saying that.
It's just
I had to check
the
temperature and everything.
Because I'm looking at it as when you say impactful. I know they keep saying, they keep the chirping. You can't run the ball. The quarterback can't run the ball, and they keep chirping that. And I said, I see that. But then I see Lamar Jackson take the ball.
This will be the difference.
And go 25 yards. But he doesn't get hit.
Lamar Jackson's career won't be 17 to 20 years. It'll be 7 to 12. That's going to be the difference. Because he can't do that for
long. He won't be a Brady.
Right.
Right.
That's the difference. I think if you're saying, okay, if the conversation is how long can we have this quarterback, 7 to 12 years is probably the window.
Here's the point to that. Phil Simms brought this up. He was on Mad Dog. It was a week ago, 2 weeks ago maybe. He mentioned this. He said, they were talking about Lamar Jackson. He goes, people get hurt in the pocket. You ever watch Lamar Jackson? He gets out of the pocket quick, and he doesn't get hit hard. And he doesn't get hurt because you can't get a hit on him because he's moving. Where the quarterback in the pocket, they're a target. Lamar Jackson is not a target. He's a hard target because he moves. He's so elusive. He gets away and he gets out of bounds. And I watch him, and I agree. I go, well, he can't continue to do it, but I never see anybody give him a hard hit because he moves and he's so elusive.
All right. Let's I got a couple counterpoints on that because of this. Look, RG3 out of the pocket, the big boy nailed him. He was from the big boy from.
But here's the problem. Okay, RG. But what happened with RG3 was simple. He blew that knee out. He could no longer be RG3. And once he blew the knee out, he lost his quick mobility. He got hit hard.
He got hit. Yeah, you're right.
After he blew the knee out, he became a target because he couldn't move anymore.
Yeah,
and that's where he really got, and he's not a big guy, thick, and he got really pummeled because that knee, once that knee gave up, and they should have never played him in that Seattle game, and to that day will continue to be.
They should never did that.
Oh my God!
That ruined
but
his
you
career.
ruin his career. But if he never blew out his knee, he'd probably still be playing. Yeah. But unfortunately, the knee he got blown out,
and he kept playing in that. That was a playoff game,
I know
right?
he played with it. He was limping around. I was crying. I was going, my God, this poor guy is gonna. He won't have a leg left.
Yep, they kept.
And
kept
that
going.
was Shanahan that did that.
As a player, you're gonna keep playing. That's the center in you.
Yeah. I know,
you
right?
know?
And that's
but
why you have a coach, and right.
Yeah.
But you're the. You see, this is the problem.
You
know what? Look, the player is kind of like. I mean, the player is always going to tell you, "I'm going to play."
Yeah, I can play.
I can play because it's a football thing. You got to play.
I just did that last night. My starting tailback blew his knee out last year. He had he finally got hit on it real hard.
Right,
and it was a little bit. I was like, "Look, can you run?" He was limping while he was running.
Yeah, of course.
He's
gonna, but he's gonna say,
"Yeah, I can go and play." I said, "You know what, son? Go sit over there.
Over there.
Hey, go get him some crutches.
Yep.
Put some ice on it.
Yep.
You're done for the night."
Yep.
To me, it wasn't if we could still win the game. What about that kid rest of his life?
That's it.
And RG3 career was ruined after that.
That Seattle game, after that game, his career was done. He was ruined. He tried to play. He couldn't get back. He did get back. He was never the speed. That was his game. His speed was his game. He never had the speed, and he got hit hard.
But
the injury started.
He got hit outside of the pocket though,
because he's used to moving, and he couldn't move quick enough because the knee was shot. See, that's the thing.
But he didn't get hurt in the pocket.
No, he did not.
The initial hurt was both of the hits were outside of the pocket.
Right.
So,
that was against Seattle.
There's always some counter,
But he should have never played that game.
I agree.
That was the problem. He should have never played that Seattle playoff game. Washington should have sat him and said, "Yeah, you want to play. No, you're not playing. We're not going to risk your career. It's just one game. I know it's a playoff game. We can get it next year. You're going to be back next year with us. You're our franchise guy. We can't risk that."
And they still haven't found a franchise
And
guy
that's
since.
right. They still haven't found a quarterback
since.
No.
They try to get
Kurt to be the dude, right?
Yeah.
Actually, Cousins was okay. He was probably
see, mediocre guys like Kirk Cousins, freaking game managers to the 10th power, because he can gang manage.
Well, speaking of game managers, Teddy Bridgewater will be back, I think, this week.
That's the freaking best game manager I've ever seen.
But I like him.
Teddy Bridgewater
is smart.
But he can't see again.
But he's a good game manager. He's the best there is.
Win the big one.
I don't know. I think if Teddy had
the
team,
game manager that won a big, didn't have an elite defense or elite running game, name that guy.
Teddy was 7-0, 8-0 with New Orleans when he played 7-0 when he filled in for Breeze.
Yeah,
and he had a great team around him.
Did they win the Super Bowl?
Well, no, because they took Teddy out. Took Teddy out.
That's Drew Brees' team. So you're not gonna put Drew Brees back in?
Yeah, I think he should have been done.
I don't know.
But they're not going. As long as he still had that
you see,
number 9 on, he played.
They're not going to bench Brees because it's his team.
So
but
all of a sudden,
Teddy was
Bridgewater
winning.
Better than Drew Brees.
No, but he was winning. He was hot. He's winning with the. See, the thing
that's the same
it's got
thing.
nothing to do with.
What's the guy that just left us and went to the Redskins? They just got hurt. Quarterback.
Oh,
Fitzpatrick. He get hot. He win a couple games, and everybody think he the answer. They're not the answer. They manage it, man. Drew Brees won Super Bowls. He won a Super. Okay, if I could get one, I'd be happy. One.
Well, here's
Teddy Bridgewater. How many Super Bowls he won?
No, he hasn't won any, but he hasn't had the.
Kirk Cousins. How many Super Bowls he won?
None.
They load. He had Thielen. He had Diggs. It was a tight end. They was loaded. You can't tell me, man.
They lost on the last.
They loaded now.
They lost on the last play of the game that year.
This year you got Thielen, Jefferson, and who else they got? Who's the other receiver?
Yeah.
They got a bunch of guys.
But they got beat by Cleveland.
Hold on.
14-7. Defense shut them down.
That defensive end arms. They look like they cut. They cut from Clay.
Who was that? Garrett.
Garrett.
Yeah, Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett arms look like they cut from Clay.
Oh, He
said he went sleeveless and they had to test him. They tested him to see if he was taking steroids.
Oh, I believe that.
They looked at.
And you see
he's
the
that
picture
impressive.
when he was in high school?
Yeah.
Dude.
You ever seen that? That
Yeah.
showed. Oh, I could not believe how big this dude.
Yeah, he was
That
a
look
stud.
unreal,
Monstrous.
man. That's crazy. Them kids, them guys look like little kids.
Yeah.
Didn't they? It looked like little
He a
kids playing with
monster.
him.
And he's like the most unstoppable force.
Oh,
Him and
totally.
Joey Bosa got it going right now. Bosa against the Raiders.
Yeah, he got it.
I got still Aaron Donald, but I still got to go. Aaron
See,
Donald
there
still
you
keep it
go.
going, bro.
You got 3 players.
Yeah, Aaron Donald just disrupts that.
But Bosa got into Carr's head, hits him, and he said, I rattled him, and Carr even goes, yeah, he did. I mean, Bosa's coming down after you.
Yeah, but now if you gonna be the Raiders and the Raiders of old, he gonna pay for that next game.
No doubt. But you know what?
We're gonna do all kinds of stuff to the Bosa.
I don't know.
Aaron Donald was the perfect recipe, like we were in here talking before, of what Tom Brady can't handle. He can't handle pressure up the middle, and Aaron Donald is pressure up the middle personified, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to say, that was a perfect matchup for Aaron Donald and the Rams, because that ain't what Brady can handle.
No, he can't.
He can't handle that pressure up the middle, and the game looked easy. And it's once Stafford got it going, shoot, it was like, oh, these guys are the next Super Bowl champions. But here comes the Cardinals the next week. Give you that flashback to you have to come with it every week.
Cliff Kingsbury started this year on the hot seat.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're 4-0, and if they
keep it going,
look, this the NFL. That thing can turn around quick and can stay around.
Good.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? You can be 5-0. How many teams did you can go 8-0 and end up 8-8?
Mm-hmm.
Look at Pittsburgh last year, 12-0, lost the last
right now,
5.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
What are they? Their last 11 games, they're 3-8. I think they said they're 3 in their last 11 games. They're 3-8.
Ben's arm is done, bro.
I think.
I mean, have you watched any of that?
I know he's done.
No, but have you watched it?
Yeah, and you can't. The only way if he had a stellar offensive line that he could throw timing rights down the field, he could do it. But not that offensive line.
That offensive
he can't
line.
Do it.
And there's your other problem.
It's check down.
When you
Charlie.
get down,
Man,
the
he's
offensive
beyond
line
check
isn't
down.
good.
He's throwing screens and check downs all day.
Because he can't do. The reality is he can't drop back and pass because there's no offensive line.
Yeah, and
therein lies your problem with line play.
Oh,
Defensive line
important.
play will dictate how good the team will do and the success of any team.
Right.
And the better the offensive line. And I go back right now, Daniel Jones is playing very good because guess what? The offensive line is giving him time to throw the ball. And once Saquon Barkley can start running the ball, providing the team can open up some holes for him, which they've been erratically, they're behind run blocking. Their pass blocking is better. The run blocking, not so much. But if they could get Saquon Barkley to run the ball and open up holes, that's going to make Daniel Jones even better than yet. But again, it goes back to line play. Yeah. And I don't know how good you're the Dolphin fan. How good is that offensive line? Is it a very good offensive line?
Trash.
It's trash. Well, you're going to have a quarterback. I don't care who.
And I get mad at them for not ever getting at least a semi-elite running back.
Right.
They never get. I mean, Myles Gaskins.
Right.
Oh, I know. They're
I'm not talking about this complete trash, but still, come on, man.
But here,
he's serviceable.
He's serviceable.
But you gotta have a guy. Once in a while, you gotta have a guy.
But you gotta
think about. And they should have got Najee Harris. They should have.
They passed on Najee Harris. Mm-hmm. They passed on Taylor that played for the Colts.
Jonathan Taylor.
Right. And they passed on. I'm just going by year, the guys, and they passed on the running back for the Browns.
Chubb.
Come on, man, you can't continue to pass on guys like that.
No.
Yeah.
But you haven't done anything to the offensive line, though.
But if you got Chubb in there, man.
But if you don't have any offensive line, it doesn't matter.
Listen, man,
if you don't have an offensive line, you've got to have some kind of offensive line that can run block.
See, look, I'm going to give you the ultimate. Look, if you got a guy, Barry Sanders, how many great offensive lines did he have? I would hesitate to say none.
Yeah, but he's a freak.
You know, and you know what? In the early years,
but I think
Walter
did.
Payton didn't have one either.
No,
but he had
Payton
big yards.
Right.
He did. He led the
But
league.
I
in
guess
rushing.
That's what I'm saying, man. If you a guy, man, you know what I'm saying? You got to get a stud, man. You get a stud. He can make lunch meat look like filet mignon, man. That's what guys like that do. You got to have something back there too. I don't care.
Yeah, I know
if
it's a
them guys
combination.
If them guys is trash up front, if you got something back there that say, you know what, bro, if I just hold on this one more second, this guy can get loose.
You still got to be able to open up holes. You still got to be able to open up holes for these guys. I don't care.
I think the Dolphins would be a better run team. They got all tackles and a center. All they linemen are tackles.
Yeah, they moved them inside.
They just moved them inside.
I mean, I don't watch
tackles. They're all 330 plus tackles, big dancing bears. But I bet you if they would you turn them into some road graders, they look like the Dallas Cowboys back in the early 90s.
Back in the 90s.
How big they are. But
Can
you're
they
not running the ball like you got Emmitt Smith back there. You got to run. We out here throwing the ball all the time. RPOs with Myles Gaskin back there. And Myles Gaskin, God bless him, but he a $135. You can't have a bunch of scat backs.
No,
and then
not in the NFL.
You got to have a power game.
Yeah,
they brought the guy Malcolm Brown from the Rams.
Right.
Yeah, he okay. He wasn't even the best back for the Rams.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. You got to have a guy, man, and you can't continue to keep passing on. And look, we picked a guy from Cincinnati in the 7th round, Jared Dokes. Who? Yeah, Jared Dokes, man. Look him up. I don't know. You tell me what he did.
And I'll tell you something. Look at Pittsburgh. They don't really have the run blocking guys.
No, they don't.
Decent. But look what Najee Harris does.
He get loose. He
still,
get loose.
Oh no,
he's real effective.
Yeah.
He'll get you 9. He'll hit you for 5. He'll hit you for 2. Then he'll hit you for 7.
That's why they should have got him. Because they could change your team. You know, if you find out you can run.
Sometimes you got a guy who makes up the difference for somebody else's inadequacy. You got to get you can't constantly get. What we do too much of is get guys that can do multitaskers. He's a great tackle. Well, he's a good tackle, but he also is a good guard. I need somebody that does one thing well, the best at it. You need the best at it. Running back, the best at it, quarterback, the best at it, left tackle, something, the best at it. And what we do too much of is, all right, we got a middle of the road guy. Well, he can play a couple different positions. What they call you a
utility guy.
Yeah, you a master of nothing. You're a jack of all trades, master of nothing.
Right.
Come on, man. Nobody want a jack of all trades to do everything. Look, man, I don't need my water heater fixed. I need you to go. I want a professional to come out here and fix the toilet, bro. I don't want no water heater guy who say he can fix the toilet. You see, and that's what we got.
Yeah, many years ago, I worked for a guy that said, I know a little bit about everything in general, but I don't know anything about one thing in particular. This is what he said to me.
Yeah.
So, i.e., he's telling me, I could
jack
do a little.
I
was a jack of all trade, but a master of none, and that's basically what you have. But I mean, yeah, I know. I look at. You're right. I mean, I guess it's a combination. If you're the Meyer, we're going to get to the picks on the next hour coming up, and we have the 9:30 game this weekend. The Jets are at the Falcons, or Jets are playing the Falcons in London.
Oh, the early game.
It's the 9:30 game on the NFL Network. So if you've got obviously NFL Network, which we do, we could get some early football under our belts. But as like I said, we'll get the games and then we'll look at some of the college matchups on the other side of the hour. But the whole bottom line is when you're looking at the face of the NFL right now, it's about a quarter of the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we could talk about, who are the best teams right now? Who's the surprise team? I would say before we break, who is the surprise team, Dave Clark? And then we'll get to who right now, what team has totally kind of like shocked you and saying, I didn't see this coming. Like, these guys have really played good.
I was getting ready to think of the opposite way. Some people that shocked me not.
Well,
playing
we
good.
could go that direction too.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
that's
flexible. If you're thinking that way, let's do that.
I was trying to think of that too, because it's some teams that even Minnesota is a team. I didn't think they'd be ahead of Green Bay, but I thought they would be more effective than they are.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
when you
off
got
to-
all them weapons
and
and
you're
a
1-3.
monster back there in Dalvin Cook. You can even bring Madison in, and he does well. You got everything on offense, and you don't have bad defensive players. I don't understand that. That team is not better than they should.
They're 1-3.
And I guess on the other end, it would be Arizona. I mean, I can't say they're shocking that they're 4-0, but I didn't think they wouldn't be competitive. They got too much talent out there, but 4-0 and the way they took the Rams out.
I still can't. I think maybe, as you
just make
said,
you wonder.
maybe it was coming off. Tamron, who would you say surprises you the most of all the teams?
My surprise team, it would be, for the good side, would be Arizona.
Right.
I'm surprised that they're playing that well this early, but they got good chemistry. And my team that I don't like is San Francisco.
Yeah.
They're in the dumps.
Well, Trey Lance is starting this week, I believe.
Yes, he is.
That's the music. We'll come back. A lot to get to. Saturday morning sports page.
You're listening to Western Reserve Radio, WRDB, The Scourge, a part of the Sports Map Radio Network.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Sports Radio 1240 and Western Reserve Digital Broadcasting have combined to bring you the Sandrock Concrete High School Football Game of the Week.
Cappy stood up, drive through a defender, touchdown, DC Cappy.
Listen every Friday night starting at 6:40 for the best in local high school football action.
Under pressure, we're going to get the sack.
Western Reserve Digital Broadcasting and Sports Radio 1240 together, bringing the Valley all the best high school football action all season long.
Miss an episode of By All Means, and you could miss a lot.
I have the sound up, and I appreciate the guys that do the work now. But it is with great appreciation I see what the guys do, not only the announcers, but also the players. So we've had wonderful playoffs. I mean, single, double, triple overtime games. It's been fantastic.
By All Means, Tuesdays at 5, right here on Western Reserve Radio and streaming live on westernreserveradio.com.
Saturday morning sports page coming right back at you. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark, and Tamron Smith joining us this morning as we motor through the wonderful world of sports. We don't get into a lot of baseball on our show, but I will give at least real quick. The San Francisco Giants did shut out the Dodgers last night 4-0. Tampa Bay, after shutting out the Red Sox, got absolutely shelled last night. They actually hit a grand slam and got up early. Tampa Bay was, I believe, up like 5-0, and then Boston just came roaring back, and threw basically. I think what was the pulling it up here now. They were just. Boston put like 14 runs on the board. It was like 14-6 is the final. Brewers won 2-1. They go up 1-0 in that series, and the Astros, who might be the best team, the sleeper team, go up 2-0 on the White Sox. They beat them 9-4 yesterday, and the Giants beat the Dodgers 4-0. They're up 1-0. So that's kind of it in the wonderful world of baseball. Let's get to football. Let's get to our picks. Last week, or we were out last week, so there were no picks last week, which means I didn't have a week to screw everything up. But the week before, actually, I actually improved slightly. I was 8-7. Tamron was 8-7, and Dave, you were 6-9. So.
You must have picked everything I picked.
I did. I cheated.
Try to get that in there.
I cheated. That's not basically totally out of the realm of possibility. But as we motor on, let's look at these games. We've got a lot to talk. The Jets are at the Jets are playing the Falcons, I should preface. They're playing in London. We get to watch it at 9:30 in the morning is when we get to put that on. Little morning football, so we can have football all day for Sunday, from 9:30 to 12 o'clock at night.
Right.
You never have to leave your. You could watch football all day. Anyway, not that that's ever happened. Jets or Falcons? Jets coming off that big win over the Titans. Falcons that lost to Taylor Heineke and the Washington. 34-30. The Falcons are 1-3. The Jets are 1-3. Falcons are giving the Jets get 2 and a hook in this game.
Field goal get you the dub.
Yeah, the field goal will get you the dub here. So, gentlemen, what say thy or what say thee?
Can't go Jets 2 weeks in a row, man. I got to go Atlanta.
Yeah, I think
Falcons.
I'm just gonna go with Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan will pull it out somehow.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take the Jets. I just have a feeling their defense is playing good. I think if they can get going offensively, you've seen flashes last week against Tennessee. I think the Falcons are kind of a bad team, but we'll wait. Okay, next one is the Packers are at the Bengals, and the Packers are basically giving the Bengals 3 points. So the Bengals are getting home dog. Bengals get 3 points.
Going with the home dog.
You want to? Okay.
Take the 3.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Green Bay is banged up defensively. Nah, I'm just gonna keep on riding.
Packer?
Yeah, I'm gonna still keep riding Rodgers.
I'm
Rodgers
taking.
rate.
I'm gonna. This has push written all over it. I'm gonna take the. I'm gonna try the Bengals. They're playing good. Burrow at home. I think Burrow is one of the better quarterbacks. I think somebody referred to him as a little Joe, like a Joe Montana.
Oh Lord!
Yeah, come on, they did.
Don't do that.
Yeah, taper that back.
That back. He doesn't.
Way back.
Not there yet. But he is playing good. The team is playing. He came off that injury.
Well, this
surprisingly. I mean, Phil Simms did comment yesterday that he didn't think Burrow would be this effective yet because of the injury. It would take him a while. Yeah, but he's kind of impressed a lot of people coming off the injury.
Look at that receiving core.
But
that receiving core is ridiculous.
Jamar Chase.
Tyler, I like Jamar Chase big time. But Tyler Boyd is
Boyd's good too.
Catch
Tyler
everything.
Boyd,
all in traffic, don't matter what's going on. But I'm going to tell you, this the only reason I'm the Packers is if Joe Mixon's not playing, I think that's a problem.
Yeah, that could be. And he won't be. I don't think Mixon's playing.
That dude runs.
But he does. He helps Burrow a lot, setting up the pass with his running ability.
I don't know if P. Ryan could do that.
Let's see.
Samaji all right, but he's not
Mixon.
Yeah. He's questionable.
Maybe it's after the day. If
he's questionable.
If
so
they're gonna do a workout today.
If he gets in, okay. Let's go next up. The Lions, who do play hard, and they're 0-4, but boy, I got to give them credit. They do play. They play hard for this Stan Campbell. They got to give them credit. They're at the Vikings, and they're getting 10 points. Wow. So that's a lot of wood. I guess the question you have to ask yourself:
can the Vikings beat them by 10?
Can Lions keep it closer than 10?
I say I'm going with the Lions. That's the spread is just too big.
Yeah, I'll take Lions because I think
Dalvin Cook is out too.
Yeah,
is he out?
I don't know. Let's look. Yeah, let's look.
He's hurt.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Dallas Cook.
Alvin.
Yeah, that's. I just wonder if he's. That's a lot of points though. The Kirk Cousins gotta.
That's. Let's see. Dalvin Cook.
And what you call it, haven't been turned the ball
report.
Over. Go.
Loading slowly.
Maybe
he might be questionable.
It is a lot of points. I'm gonna take the Lions. This might be one of them they could pull off too. You never know.
Bridgewater looks like he's gonna pull 10 points. Yeah, I would say Mixon is questionable. Okay, you want the Lions? Dalvin Cook
for the Vikings.
He has a, however, the Vikings labeled him as a DNP with an ankle injury on the injury report of Game 5. He had a sprained ankle. Risk of re-injury is coming too soon. I would probably sounds like he's kind of questionable.
Yeah,
Dalvin.
I just maybe the Lions. You never know. Lions might be this week's Jets and win the game.
You would take the Lions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking the Lions because that spread. That's a heavy spread.
Oh, it's big.
That's too, as we would refer to, that's basically way too much wood, sort of to speak. The last thing I looked at, the Broncos and the Steelers, I'm looking for an update because when I did this, the point spread was dead even. The Broncos are, it looks like -1. Steelers are getting 1.5 points at home. So the
Steelers at home?
The Steelers are at home. They're getting 1.5 points. So they're the underdog. They're a home dog getting 1.5 points. So Teddy Bridgewater looks like he will play coming off the concussion protocol.
Yeah.
So with Teddy Bridgewater as the starter for the Broncos, providing he's okay, which we assume he's past the protocols, he should be. I guess, what do you think, Tamron?
Going Teddy B and the boys. Got to. I've been anti-Pittsburgh my whole life.
Yes, I'm.
No need to start with going with those guys.
That's a hard one.
They're 3-1. The Broncos coming in. Obviously, Steelers 1-3, and they're in last place in their division because everybody else in their division is 3-1. So the Steelers are in the bottom cellar.
Pittsburgh.
You're going to take the Steelers.
Even though I don't like them.
I hate them.
I'm taking the. If Teddy Bridgewater's back, I'm taking the Bronx.
You're a super game manager.
I like him. He always wins. He went out last week. He got hurt, and they lost. McGrady and the Ravens are good, but I would like to know if Teddy Bridgewater did not get a concussion last week, could they have at least stayed in that game and made it an interesting game? But we'll never know that. Now, the next team up is your Miami Dolphins, Tamrod Smith. They're playing Brady and his Bucks, and they're actually getting 10 points. So it's a lot of wood. They're at the road.
We're at Tampa Bay.
They're at Tampa Bay, and they get 10 points.
Give me Tampa Bay. It's just a lot of problems going on. Who is the quarterback?
It's got to be Jacoby. Jacoby Brissett's the quarterback.
And he usually is at least decent. I don't know what's wrong now. He's, man.
Well,
what happened to him?
Fell apart.
Well, one thing you got to look at, Tampa Bay has no bottom line, Tampa Bay's defense has got so many injuries to that defensive backfield.
Yeah, Winfield's out.
Yeah.
Davis out. They
right.
They got a lot of problems.
They're like a mash unit.
Yeah. But can he exploit them?
And that's your question. Could Jacoby Brissett...
He did not try to throw the ball downfield till it was down by 14 in the fourth quarter.
Too late.
Man. I was so mad about that, man.
So your questions go...
Get me started.
So what do you want, Tamron?
You know I'm going with the Feds, man.
Okay.
That's too many points. That's way.
That is a lot of wood. Yeah. I haven't... You know what? When you look at the way Tampa Bay has played, they were lucky to win last week. All that... I'm so glad... I was getting tired of the Brady rhetoric. Yeah. Mad Dog Russo said the same thing. I've had enough of Tom Brady and that going home back to New England thing. They beat that drum till it broke, and then they beat it some more. And I'm glad it's over because I couldn't hear it. I was tired of it. I didn't want to see any more of he and all the rhetoric and the talk of him and Belichick. Give me a break with that. Brady. It's like, enough. Just play the damn game. It wasn't a good game either. It was raining, and both those teams struggled in the rain. It wasn't like, this is a great game to watch. They struggled. Both teams struggled. But getting back to this week, now that we've got the Brady homecoming done, thank God, for small favors. Dave Clark, we've got the Finns getting 10 points.
Yeah, I already said Tampa Bay.
TB.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't know.
There's a lot of points, but.
All right.
I don't know, man.
I'm probably going to I'm going to regret it, but I'm going to take, I just like all those points. I think that, and I think Tampa Bay has a tendency to play to the level of the opponent. And they have this year. They beat Atlanta, but man, they let Atlanta put some points, but Atlanta had no defense. So I think Miami's defense is better, and I think Miami can keep it relatively close. Next one up is the Saints at the Washingtons. And now it's Washington's getting 2 and a hook. So Washington gets 2 and a hook at home, a home dog. Saints coming off that bad loss to the Giants. They're 2-2. Washington, a big win last week against the Falcons, 34-30. I don't know if Washington's as good as, advertised. They should have lost to the Giants. We won't go down that road for all that. But they won, so they are 2-2.
Who's the quarterback
for
Washington this week?
Taylor Heineke. I believe it is. He's.
How many points are the team?
They get 2 and a hook at home.
Yes. They're playing the Saints.
They got the Saints.
Going with the Saints, man.
The Saints, and you lay the 2 and a hook.
Okay. Tyler Heineke is.
He's a backup. He's played better than he played good last week. They won but they beat Atlanta. So you have
to. When you get the book on the guy, the game changes. Tyler Heineke, the time is coming.
Yeah, I agree with you there. He's inadequate. He's a backup. He really is. He's a backup, and once they get the book on him, and he's not a bit. He's going to get hurt just because you could tell physicality. He doesn't have the ability to play. Withstand the hits because he's slight.
Yeah.
Or as Kramer would refer to when they were talking getting the shower heads because of the low flow on Seinfeld, Kramer referred Jerry couldn't have a big shower head with power because he's delicate. Well, Taylor Heineke's like Jerry Seinfeld. He's delicate. He looks delicate out there.
Saints.
Yeah, Dave Clark.
I'm worried about if they get that pass rush. Will Winston start throwing anybody?
Right. Well, I think
that ain't a far fetch, but I don't know. Washington putting up points though. It comes from. You see that touchdown Heineke threw last week, man. That was one of the luckiest touchdowns ever, man.
Yeah, I know he does pull stuff out of the proverbial. But
you said 2.5.
2 and a hook. So Washington gets 2 and a hook at home.
Yeah,
Saints coming off a bad loss to the Giants, and I think a game they know they should have won. And I think they thought they had that game won. And then the Giants were down 11 in the fourth quarter, and they let the Giants back in the door. And I think they were surprised that the Giant offense woke up, and then the Giant defense decided, we have to get a stop here because they weren't doing it the whole game.
I'll try Washington in there. I'm trying.
I'll take the Saints because I think that they're gonna come back with a little bit of a vengeance here, and I think they'll beat. Washington to me is that defense still isn't waking.
Yeah,
I don't know what the problem is there. I don't know if they've just kind of thought they were really good and now they're really not playing that good, the defense. They gave up 30 points last week to Atlanta and won the game because Atlanta's defense is worse. But I think that Jameis is going to come back and score points. So
he should.
Eagles are at the Panthers. And they get 3 points. That's the next one.
But I'm still taking them because but they need more points. They so banged up.
Cameron,
that defense, Carolina.
You're doing it from your heart, then, right? Because
Panthers. The quarterback for the Panthers ain't playing bad.
Oh no,
Sam Darnold's actually, I think, a pretty decent quarterback now that
they haven't played
right.
They only played one good team now.
Right. I know.
Who is it? Who did they play?
Cowboys. That was the only good team.
And they lost 36-28.
Yeah, see, and
they were down in that game. That's a little deceiving. They were getting kind of blown out, and then he got two garbage touchdowns there at the end. Dallas, Darnold. I mean, they were that. If I should look it up,
but they was winning at half, correct? When it 14-13 Carolina,
it might have been.
Yeah, they was winning.
But then they got down bad in the second half.
Yeah, the third quarter, they had a terrible third
quarter.
20 points, 20 unanswered.
Yeah, and I think that's what basically ultimately cost them was that they fell apart in the third quarter, and then they got too far behind in the third quarter and could not recover. And Dallas got a big lead. I think it was 36 to 14 maybe. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of gave them 2 touchdowns at the end just to Darnold got a couple garbage, as a friend of mine would refer to as garbage time touchdowns.
Yeah, but I mean, they kept saying that, but there was still a few minutes left when they was driving again for the tying touchdown. I forgot, they
could have. They were only lost by 8, so they guess you're right.
See, that's why I worry about Dallas if they play an elite offensive team also, with a kind of a defense.
Yeah.
That's why they couldn't.
You're right. It was 14-13 at half. Then what happened is Dallas scored 20 points in the third quarter and basically went up 33-14. And then Carolina scored 2 touchdowns, and then Dallas had a field goal, and that did it. So, yeah. So what do you, Tamron, who did you want between Eagles and the Panthers?
Panthers.
Yeah, me too. Jets and the Titans are next, speaking of. The Jets are getting 4 and a hook at home.
Titans.
Wait.
No, Jags. I'm sorry. It's the Jags. Eyesight. I'm an old man. I didn't read it right. It's the Jags. I looked at it too quick.
How many
Jags? Jags get 4 and a hook at home.
Titans and the Jags?
Yep, Titans at the Jags. Division. Big division game.
I need them Titans. Okay, look, man. The coach, his heart ain't even into it right now, so I'm damn sure not going with them.
Yeah, but you're so...
His heart ain't in it.
Urban's...
I'm going to take the Titans.
Urban is out in California right now, coaching the...
you think he's getting the USC job? Bob Stoops is not going to. Maybe Bob Stoops will get that job. He's out there with Fox.
I think they're going to get one of those type of.
Yeah, that's who they're looking for.
They're getting an impact.
They're angling for the impact guy.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go out. I'm going to be an outlier. I'm going to take the Jags because I think the Titans are going to win by 3, and it's a 4 and a hook. And I think the Titans play to the level of the opponent. I think the Jags are going to surprise and hang in. And it's going to be one of these, 15, 12, something stupid games. I'm going to take the Jags because I like the 4 and the hook. I'm probably wrong.
I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I still think the Jags lose.
Titans defense.
But the Titans have a tendency to play to the level of the opponent.
Yeah, they're very troublesome.
They just screw around too much. They're a good team, but you're like, why are they continuing letting lousy teams hang around?
Well, their defense don't play well.
Ryan Tannehill.
And their defense is horrible, too.
The next one up, it's Brady on the road. Brady.
No, they're playing us.
It's going to be at the Texans.
No, you already did that one. You already did that.
I'm sorry.
You said the Patriots.
The Patriots.
Brady is the
Brady,
Patriots.
ex-Patriot, is on. It's going to be the Patriots at the Texans.
What's the point total?
9. Texans get 9.
That's too many points, man.
That is a lot.
Texans been playing teams tight, too.
Except Buffalo.
Yeah, they got it.
They didn't do well against Buffalo.
I just...
Maybe that was that outlier.
Well... If what you call it was back, if Tyrod was back, I'd be all over that. But David Mills right now, he's
playing
tough.
Like a rookie on a bad team, kind
It's
of.
tough.
They play hard. They just Belichick though, man.
They just don't put up enough point total. New England. That's what make you.
That's
wonder.
right.
That's what make you wonder.
That's the problem. I don't have a lot of faith in New England because they really don't score a lot of points.
Right.
And that game Sunday night, I mean, New England had a chance to win the game. Maybe if Belichick went for it on 4th down and converted it and got the field goal closer, they win.
Mm-hmm.
But, kicking the 56-yarder in the rain didn't but he hit the crossbar. I don't know what to. Yeah, it's Texans are getting 9 points.
And it's in Texas.
It's in Texas. You got the
I'm going with the Texans, man.
That is a lot of points, isn't it?
So many points.
I'm gonna.
And they don't score a lot of points. The Patriots are not a offense that move the ball.
No, they don't. They don't have any. Their skill people aren't that good. They don't move the ball down. I mean, they plod along. But Texans are so bad. They lost last week 40-0. Tampa Bay. I mean the. Tampa Bay beat Patriots last week 19-17. So, I mean, the Patriots, again, 17 points. You're right. They just don't score. They're just not scoring any points.
And Brandon Cooks have been playing good for them. Always getting the passes and doing good.
I'll take Texas just because, again, I think Patriots win, but they're not going to cover these points.
That's one word. They can't score. They just don't score.
They don't score.
Texas?
Just because of them 9 points.
Yeah, I think that's too much. I think you're asking the Patriots to score. Okay, Bears are at the Raiders. 5 and a hook. They get 5 and a hook.
The Bears?
They get 5 and a hook at the Raiders. And that's the 4:00 game, 4:05 games the Bears are playing.
Dave going to go with the Raiders.
Right.
You already know that. Raiders and Eagles. He's going to go with the Raiders and the Eagles every week.
Every week.
You got to do it, right?
All right. Regardless of logic. Okay, that's good.
Ain't no logic when it comes to
logic when it comes to your heart.
That's very true. You can't argue with that. There is no logic when you're betting with your heart. But that's life, as we know it.
Now, if this is something for something, we got to win something.
So, Tamron, you got 5 in the hook. How comfortable are you laying the 5 in the hook?
That's a lot, though.
That's a lot. Justin Fields will now be the starter. He's been named the starter by the coach for the rest of the year.
I like the Bears' defense, but I think the Raiders will win, but not by 7.
But not cover. 5 and a hook.
So I'm going to take them 5. Take them 5 and go with the Bears.
You're going to take the Bears and take 5.5. You're going to take the hook.
Get that money.
I'm going to take the Raiders. Browns are at the Bolts. 2 points.
Very interesting.
The Browns get 2 points on the road at 4:05. We get this game on CBS at 4:05. The Browns are getting 2 points.
Now, is this a week that the Browns have a dud?
Their defense. Hey, you know what? The Vikings are pretty good. I mean, they really held the Vikings in check defensively. They held them 7 points.
Yeah, their defense is.
Their defense.
And they got a array of pass rushers. It's Garrett for sure. That's a monster. And you got
Actually,
McKinley. That dude good too.
We'll do it. It's 2 and a hook. They've upgraded it to 2 and a hook. So the Browns get 2 and a hook.
Yeah, give me that hook.
You want the hook in the Browns?
Because at least they try to control the game by running the football.
I'm going to take the Browns. I think the Chargers are coming off a real big win Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes those teams just that following week it's a little tough.
Yeah, it is tough.
I'll take the Browns, and I like the defense and Myles Garrett. I mean, I think it'll be a tight game and can go either way, but I'll take the 2 and a hook in the Browns.
Baker got to be more accurate.
Yeah, Baker's just got to. What do you think, Tam?
I like the Browns, man. Browns is just one of those teams they're gonna start making. They're gonna get better and better as time goes.
Yeah.
They're loaded.
They're
loaded.
They're a loaded team. They are.
They're loaded.
And you got Chubb and Hunt, but you know what? That other back is not bad either.
I know.
Little dude, Johnson. Oh no, that guy Felton.
Felton, bro.
Felton is ridiculous.
Man, listen to me. Felton, Najee Harris, and the one that went to the Williams kid that went to
Denver.
They were
he a
all
beast.
the guys. I was like, the Dolphins should pick one of these 3 guys. None of them.
And Javonte,
Now, I think
taking over.
I think we would have got Javonte, but the Denver moved up one pick in front of us and picked him.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to
He
get
a
him with
beast.
that.
Well, you see how you run? You run with violence. You hear me?
Man.
You've got Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Felton, and then Ernest Johnson.
He's
good
good too.
Pretty good
Yeah,
too.
pretty good.
So you have 4 guys you can rotate, give them the fresh legs, but they could drive you crazy.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Receiver, tight end.
Yeah.
They just loaded.
That's a loaded team, and their defense is just, I mean, nobody can, I know they have Myles Garrett as questionable listed here.
What they say wrong?
I got to look it up.
Now, you know the Browns got a kid from the South Side over there, too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Who is,
Troy. Yep, Troy Hill.
Troy Hill.
That's right.
Played for Brian Merrill.
That's the
Little League.
Timeout, Saturday morning sports page. We'll be back.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all got to see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
Miss an episode of By All Means, and you could miss a lot.
To the radio play-by-play voice and our buddy back from here at Youngstown, it is the voice Fitz. Everett Fitzhugh, my friend, how are you?
Man, it feels good to hear your voice again, Mark. Everything's going well, and definitely excited to be back on the airwaves briefly for here in Youngstown.
By All Means, Tuesdays at 5, right here on Western Reserve Radio and streaming live on westernreserveradio.com.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Mill Creek Golf Course is the Valley's leader for golfing fun with a practice range, short game area, and hole 55 bar and grill all on site. Mill Creek Golf Course features a friendly PGA professional staff available for instruction, along with 36 challenging holes designed by the legendary Donald Ross. Don't forget family fun night golf on Fridays and Saturdays for just $25. For details and tee times, call 330-740-7112 or go online to millcreekmetroparks.org.
Saturday morning sports page right back at you. I think we have Irish Mike on hold. So before we bring Irish Mike in, let's get we'll get these 4 games done. Then we got to get to college. This is going to work out good. Next game up is the G-Men at Dallas. The G-Men get 7 points. Pretty clear cut.
Yeah. That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points. It's
I'm going with the Giants just on those points alone.
Yeah, me too. I'm taking the points because I think what it's going to ultimately happen, the Giants will lose by 3. Yeah. This is my mind. This is what's going to happen.
Pat, you going
Dallas.
with your heart, bro.
Dallas.
You want Dallas and lay the wood.
Yeah, I see them getting up early.
Okay, and they might. I mean, Dallas could blow them out off the field. That's the Giants. The Giant defense scares me because they didn't play good against New Orleans. Don't kid yourself. But they nutted it up, sort of to speak, and said, okay, they got real when they needed to.
Even though I picked Dallas, I wouldn't mind seeing the Giants pull it off.
And here's the deal. If the Giants win this, they're right back in the division, which is scary because they're struggling miserably. And then obviously what Washington does, who knows? Let's go with the 49ers are at the Cardinals, and their 49ers get 5 points, but there will be no Jimmy Garoppolo. He's on the bench. It will be the Trey Lance.
I'm taking the 49ers.
You're going to take the Niners and Trey Lance.
Because I think he's going to cause a
problem. At the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. That running a running quarterback costs a lot of problems, so I'm going to go with the running quarterback. I'm going to take all them points, too.
And he can throw deep.
You're going to take 49ers.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to be the outlier. I'm
staying with it.
I'm staying with Arizona. You know what, though? In fairness, part of me thinks just because they're 4-0, they're due to lose.
Right.
That's all, and that's the only logic I'm leaning toward not taking them just on record alone. Not that there's any logic in the game. Just because they're 4-0, they should lose. It's just time that they lose. But I just think that Trey Lance, the Cardinals have a good defense, and Murray's driving people crazy.
Yeah, no.
And I like the Cardinals at home, so I'm going to take that. Bills are at the Chiefs. It's a great Sunday nighter. Might be the best game of the week. The Chiefs are actually giving the Bills 2 and a hook. So the Bills get 2 and a hook on the road Sunday night.
Oh, Bills in Kansas
Bills
City?
are at Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Me too. Kansas City, man.
They just play better at home.
And it's a night game. Kansas City. Bills haven't performed well in a crucial game. When the pressure's been on them for to play well,
this is the time.
They stink it up.
I'm going to take the Bills.
Yeah,
I like the points on the Bills.
If they want to show that they want to go to the Super Bowl, they need to win this game. How many points was that?
2 and a hook. Let me check it.
Them, yeah. 2 points, bro. That's a field goal.
You taking who?
I get a field goal and win. I'm Kansas City. Man.
Oh, yeah. I'm staying with Kansas City, too. Buffalo got.
Let me see if they changed the line any. Because some of the times I do this Thursday, but then when I roll it on, the they give it. Let's see that. Yeah, it's 3 now. So it's 3 points.
Yeah, I'm
going to take I'll take the 3. So yeah, they upped it. They upped it. Kansas City is laying 3 points to the Bills.
Okay.
And finally, the Monday nighter is the Colts are at the Ravens. 7 points. The Colts get 7 points at the Ravens. This is the Monday nighter.
No. I'm going to limb and take the Colts.
A lot of points.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. There's a lot of points involved. The Broncos, the Colts beat your Finns last week 27-17, coming off of their first win. They're 1-3.
I want the Ravens, man.
Yeah, 7 points, though. I'm just wondering. Yeah, I'm just going to take a flyer on the Colts this time. Take 7.
I'm going to go with you, Dave. I'm going to take a flyer on the Colts. I've taken all my picks are flyer picks. I've just taken all the wood. I'm taking all the underdogs I'm taking all the points this week. I'm probably going to be 1-15. I'll be the Dallas Cowboys of 1989. Hey, Irish Mike, you there?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for holding through.
Oh, no problem.
It works out good because as you call in, we're getting to the college game. And we got college games to pick. And
Can I make one quick comment, though, Pat?
Please.
I've been watching Notre Dame football intelligently since the mid-1970s, and, obviously there's been some down years, some lean years in certain positions, certain areas, but this is the worst Notre Dame offensive line I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
I mean, And, look at the guys they have in the NFL the last 5 years, 10 years, 15. Just last 2 years ago, Pat, you had first-team All-Pro Quentin Nelson, Indianapolis Colts, Ronnie Stanley, Baltimore Ravens, Zach Martin, Dallas Cowboys. 3 of the top 5 AP first-team All-Pros were from Notre Dame. So don't tell me, Pat Lucia, they don't get offensive linemen there. You can tell me anything else, but you can't tell me that.
You are correct, Irish Mike.
I mean, so at some point, if Brian Kelly has one major downfall, he brings his buddies and his cronies he's known for 30-plus years, and he did it with Brian Van Gorder when he had to fire him 5 years ago. Now he's done it with Jeff Quinn, the offensive line coach. His biggest problem is loyalty. Urban Meyer never had that problem. Nick Saban never had that problem. Time to move on.
Well, what do you think? So when you say time to move on, are you tired of Brian Kelly?
No, he ain't going anywhere. I mean, obviously he passed Knute Rockne 2 weeks ago for the all-time most wins in the history of Notre Dame football. It's right up the Pat Lucia school of, they had to forfeit. The NCAA made them give back 21 wins back from that scandal, Pat, about 6, 7, 8 years ago. And the University of Notre Dame chose not to recognize that. So they counted those wins. That's right up there with the Pat Lucia. Like, the games were played. We saw it. So we're not going back and saying they don't count. So the administration gave him those wins.
Yeah.
And I know that's one thing you've hated about the NCAA for the last 30 years, that they try to go back and say, we're going to take those wins away from you.
Yeah, I know. That's stupid. To me, that's like Ohio State beat Michigan that one year, and Tressel got in trouble with tattoos, and now they're trying to tell us that, well, that game didn't really count. Give me a break.
I'm talking 99% of football, whether they're Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan. No one follows that.
No.
The NCAA says. No one believes that for a second.
No.
That those games were played.
Right, and that's the problem. Tressel beat Michigan 9 out of 10 years, okay?
Correct.
There wasn't 1 year in there that he beat them. No, that didn't count year. Because they put it, if you look at on the WIC, it gives you, it doesn't like it, they always color gray or the white or red, you win, lose.
Yeah,
well, that's a gray game because it, quote, didn't count even though Ohio State won. Because the NCAA, it's like Chris Webber taking his jerseys down and taking the Michigan thing when they, give me a break with all this crap. Come on.
Yeah.
Move on. I forgot to mention this, but since you're on the phone, I did want to bring up that Urban Meyer did teach a class at Ohio State called Leadership and Character.
He flunked. He flunked.
That's funny.
Urban Meyer's biggest problem right now is with Mrs. Urban Meyer. That's his biggest problem.
I don't know. He might be, we talked, I don't know. I think the team I think he's got more, I might tend to disagree. I think he's got more problems with his team. I think the team thinks this guy's a college coach. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's tough. I think it's an either way. You might be right, Irish Mike. It could go either way. He's got a lot of problems as it is right now, and I don't know if he's going to do you think he's vying for the USC job? And we thought that Dave brought it up, and so did Tamron. They think Urban wants out. That he knows he's way in over his head. He wants to get out because he's vying for the USC job. What do you think about that?
I don't believe that. I have a guy who I know, and he's known the situation for years, and he said he told me that Urban Meyer does not miss college coaching, and believe it or not, he doesn't miss recruiting. That was his biggest strength.
Yeah, always
he
was.
A great recruiter. That was his number one claim to fame, and that the fact that he wants to give this pro football thing a gig. And if it doesn't work out, then he'll go into broadcasting and call it a career. But he does not see Urban Meyer coming back to college football. That's what he told me. I asked the same question. Now, I believe that there's only 2 jobs he's interested in college, if he would be interested, and that would be Ohio State and Notre Dame. I don't think he's interested in any other job besides those 2.
So you're not counting him out for
the USC team.
No, I'm counting him out for USC.
Yeah, so you don't think he's the USC?
I think
okay.
the LSU gig's going to open up then this year. I think Ed Orgeron's on thin ice, so I think LSU will try to go after him, but I don't think that's going to work out either. If he ever came back to college football, which I just told he would not do that, he's going to give this pro thing a whirl, and if it doesn't work out, he'll go back to broadcasting, one of those networks, but it would be Ohio State or Notre Dame would be the only 2 jobs he'd be interested in.
Interesting.
I don't think Notre Dame's interested in him. Just trust me, Lucia. We and I talked about this a million times, and it has nothing to do with W's and L's.
Why would he want Notre Dame?
That's all I'm going to say. You can draw your own conclusions after that. There's too much.
Yeah, I know.
There's too many issues I think they would not want to deal with. No. And this one only puts topping on the cake. I mean, I'm not talking about what happened the last week or so either. I'm going back 5, 10, 15 years.
Well,
I think they're comfortable with some of those things.
Here was an article I read in the New York Post. It's a writer wrote in, Phil Mushnick, I write. He said in his, you can't expect more out of Meyer. He goes, after Urban Meyer became Ohio State's ex-coach for hiring an assistant he knew to beat his wife, what was the name of that course he taught at OSU? ? Oh, yeah, leadership and character. He didn't even mention this last fiasco. He just he throws this one-liner in there. I think you're right. I think Notre Dame doesn't want anything with Urban Meyer for obvious reasons. You could take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, I think that ship sailed a long time ago, and my friends get mad at me when I bring this up. When Ohio State hired him, some of my friends will make comments about Alabama, Georgia, the SEC, and some of the things they'll do to win and all that other stuff, the whole 9 yards. I know Dave's heard it a million times too, but I said, hey, when you hired Urban Meyer 10 years ago, you at Ohio State, you pushed all your chips to the middle of the table and said, we're in.
Yeah.
Okay? You pushed all your chips to the middle of the table and said, we're in.
He got him a national championship, though.
But he did give him a national title.
Exactly.
Yeah. He did give him a national title, and he never lost to Michigan.
Don't throw stones when you live in a glass house is the motto.
Yeah, he never lost to Michigan. He was 7-0, I think, against Michigan.
The W's and L's were never his problem.
No, he always had the other issues. Let's hit the games this week. We have Oklahoma at Texas. Well, it's at Dallas, Cotton Bowl, Dallas, Oklahoma, Texas. Texas getting 3 points in a big rival game.
I'm going to go, Dave. I'm going to go with Texas. Oklahoma's offensive line is bad. They cannot run the football. They're Notre Dame Part 2 this year. They can't protect the quarterback. So I'm going to go with Texas in the upset.
Cameron?
I like Oklahoma.
Cameron, my man.
Yeah, Tamron's here.
I'm sorry. I thought I was curious.
We have
What's going on?
I'm going to go with Oklahoma, too.
Cameron, you wanted Oklahoma?
Yeah, I like Oklahoma. Got to.
I'm going to go Texas.
I know that Oklahoma's bad up front, but that quarterback makes all the difference.
Maryland, I put this on because I'm just had to. Maryland at Ohio State, 21 points. Maryland gets 21 points.
That's always a point. Young Tua.
Young Tua.
Go with young Tua.
Is young Tua can Ohio State cover the spread with that defense? That is basically going to be the moniker of this year.
Oh, young Tua.
Can young Tua keep this close?
That running back that Ohio State got is a stud.
Right.
The freshman is a stud.
Yep. He's good. So the question's going to be, can Tua's brother keep this close? Can he keep it under 21?
Last Friday night at home at Maryland, Iowa blew them out. So I'm going to take Ohio State.
You're going to take the point? Okay, and lay the points.
He'll try, but nah.
I mean, 21 points is a lot of points, but they usually beat Maryland to death. So go ahead.
And it's home.
Ohio State, man.
I'm taking Ohio State, yeah.
All right, so it's going to be Ohio State. I'm going to go Maryland because I still am not buying the Ohio State defense. I think two is the brothers keeping it under 21. Arkansas at Ole Miss, 5 and a hook. Ole Miss giving Arkansas 5 and a hook. Arkansas got embarrassed last week against Arkansas. Georgia beat them 37-0. Ole Miss got drilled by Alabama. Arkansas is getting 5 and a hook on the road against Ole Miss. Both teams obviously not quite at the level of Alabama and Georgia in the SEC.
I'm taking Ole Miss.
I'm going to go with Tamron and take Ole Miss too, Pat. 2 weeks ago they played Texas A&M in a neutral site. Last week they're at Georgia. This week they're at Ole Miss. I mean, week after week there's just nowhere to hide in the SEC.
Okay, so that was Dave. Dave wants Ole Miss. You want Ole Miss?
Yes.
Tamron?
I believe in Arkansas, man.
You believe in them?
Yeah, man. They making a big turnaround.
Oh,
that's my flyer of the week. Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Ole Miss. All right, I got to get these. Okay, I got you. Arkansas for Tamron, Ole Miss for Irish Mike. I'll go with Ark. I'll take Arkansas on the road.
Pat Lucia, don't discount Lane Kiffin for the LSU job when it opens.
Yeah, I know.
I freaking hate Lane Kiffin, man.
Hey, he's everywhere.
I hate him.
He's been everywhere.
I hate him.
He's been at Tennessee for a year.
How does he get so many chances?
I don't know. He gets more.
Knows where the bodies are buried.
He must. He knows something because every time you turn around, his name's always thrown in.
He got pictures.
He must. He's got something on somebody.
He got something, man, because this guy always get a chance, man.
All right, let's go on. West Virginia at Baylor. Tuna and Baylor's.
That's a good game.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good game. It's noon FS1. Arkansas is noon on ESPN. Buckeyes are noon on Fox. And then Oklahoma, Texas is noon ABC. Let's get, though, West Virginia at Baylor on FS1 noon. And Baylor is giving them, West Virginia's getting 2.5 on the road.
Whew. I'm gonna take Baylor just because they're at home.
Yeah, me too. I'll take Baylor Bears. They're at home.
I like West Virginia running game though.
Yeah, that's good team. That's what I mean. This is
It's a good game, right?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, home team.
Baylor. Dave Clark.
Baylor.
Okay, we're Baylor across the board. Georgia at
I'll take Baylor too, Pat. I'll take Baylor as well.
Okay. We got Baylor. Good deal. Georgia at Auburn. Auburn gets 15.5 at home over with Georgia coming on the road at 3:30 CBS. Laying the wood, a lot of wood here. Auburn getting 15.5 at home. Can Georgia cover? That's a lot of coverage. That's 15.5 for a home dog. Auburn's a tough place to play.
I'm going with no. I'm going with Georgia. I got to, man. Georgia they defense only gave up like
I know. I got to go
points the whole year.
I'm going to go Georgia. I just think Georgia's defense is just they just choke everybody and they shut everybody down.
Who Irish Mike got?
Who you got, Irish Mike?
I would tell you guys this: if Georgia didn't lose their All-American wide receiver in early August to a season-ending injury, I would think they would be the best team in the country with that defense, like Cham's saying, and all that. Too bad they lost that big play threat on the outside of an All-American wide receiver, and he's out for the year. I'm going to go with Auburn to cover, but I'm going to say Georgia wins the game.
Okay.
Because Georgia sometimes doesn't score as much as you would like with the lack of weapons on the outside.
Dave Clark.
I'll go with Georgia win the game, but Auburn to cover.
Yeah,
that's tough.
That's what I was wondering. I don't know how much they score Auburn or have been scoring, but I'm gonna go with them too. Auburn.
You're gonna go Auburn?
Yeah, I'm gonna try Auburn too, just because of the points. They're not beating Georgia. They can forget it.
No, it's just a matter of kids to deal with the cover. Yeah. I mean, I kind of look at it this way: Auburn and Arkansas. I don't think there's a big variance between Auburn and Arkansas. And this is so if they shut out Arkansas 37-0 last week, Georgia did. I think they're probably
Arkansas offense is nice though.
Yeah, Arkansas's got a good offense. That's why I think Georgia's just gonna and Georgia shut them out.
I think the Auburn quarterback is a
Nix.
Nix is a definite step up from Arkansas quarterback.
I don't know.
And Arkansas quarterback was banged up.
I don't know about that guy. Every time I watch him play, I just
think about his dad. Man, his dad was trash.
Kent Nix.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I remember him.
At Auburn, blowing against Bo Jackson and them dudes. So
yeah, that's right. All right.
Yeah, I can't go ahead.
Let's go with Penn State at Iowa. That's the big game at 4:00 on Fox. Actually, Iowa is giving Penn State 1.5. It's almost a pick 'em, but Penn State gets 1.5 on the road. They shut out Indiana last week, 24-0. Iowa drilled Maryland 51-14.
Give me Penn State.
You want Penn State and lay the okay?
No, Penn State getting a point, right?
They get 1.5.
Yeah, give me
1.5.
Give me that point and a hook.
I can't go with Iowa, man. I just can't go. Nothing about Iowa excites me.
You want Penn State?
Yeah, you go there, you won't be excited.
Yeah, you go to Iowa. Man. I don't even like. I went up there. I really don't like them because of the Unidome. I had some of my work.
Oh, that's right. You play there. Hey, Irish Mike, who do you want?
I'll go with Iowa at home.
All right.
Good game, though. It'll be a close game, but I'll go with Iowa in the close one.
All right. So we got Penn State, Irish Mike, Iowa. Okay, good. Moving on. Michigan at Nebraska.
And for some reason, I don't. Maybe they know more than I do, but Nebraska gets 3 points at home against Michigan. I thought it would be more points because I don't think Nebraska's any good, even though they just hammered Northwestern last week, 56-7. But what does that tell you about Northwestern? But Michigan is on the road. It's tonight's game, 7:30. Michigan gives 3 points to the home dog, Nebraska. I don't know if this is just obvious because I'm looking. How does Michigan?
Nebraska can't score.
They can, but Michigan's defense is pretty good,
and they control the ball with their running game.
Right. I don't think Nebraska's any good. I just think they're a lower tier, but evidently the Vegas is telling me different.
Yeah.
Because Nebraska's only getting 3 points at home versus Michigan. I thought they would be getting a lot more than 3.
Yeah, I would too. I would think.
That's why, I know I'm going to maybe get it wrong, but I'm going to take Michigan and I'll lay 3 points to Nebraska because I really don't think Nebraska's any good.
I'm taking Michigan.
Yeah.
I hate Michigan.
No, I do too. I hate Michigan and Harbaugh too, but if you're just telling me just out front, Nebraska to me is terrible.
I take Michigan too.
I love Harbaugh at Michigan. He's trash.
He is.
So he makes them trash.
Yes, he does.
So it makes us better.
That's right. As long as he stays there and Ohio State wins, that's all I care about. Dave Clark?
I already said Michigan.
Michigan, Irish Mike?
I was in this. Harbaugh was fantastic at Stanford, and he did a great job with the 49ers, but the Michigan thing hasn't worked out in regards to big games especially. The record's there as far as wins and losses, but not the games they want to win, like over Ohio State, Michigan State, and bowl opponents.
He scored, yeah.
Having said all that, I think Nebraska with Taylor Martinez at quarterback, he turns the ball over too much. They find a way to lose. So I'm going to go with Michigan by a touchdown.
Me too. That sounds about right. I put this game on. They've got Notre Dame at Vatech, and it's an even match. No points.
Pick 'em.
It's a pick 'em.
You guys are a pick 'em this week, Irish Mike.
Well, I would tell you guys, in their last 20 home games, Virginia Tech's 12-8. So they play that loud music and they get everyone all excited, but they haven't produced. This is going to be an ugly game on both sides of the ball. Both offenses will struggle to move the ball. Having said that, Jack Cohn's going to start at quarterback. He can't move. He's Bernie Kosar part 2, and you got a bad offense line trying to protect him. That's a bad combination. And unless they put Pine in to start the second quarter, Notre Dame will not win the game. So I think Brian Kelly be stubborn and keep with Cohn too long, and Virginia Tech gets the W.
So you take Vatech. Cameron?
Wow.
I'm taking Notre Dame.
I love Notre Dame's running back.
I'm taking Notre Dame on a snapback game.
I love their running back.
I think Kelly's going to I think they're going to win.
They can't run the ball. They can't. I love the running backs too. You're right. They got 2 really good running backs at Notre Dame. You're right, my friend. You're right. But we can't run the ball because the offensive line can't get any push up front.
I know. I haven't seen Vatech do anything defensively that's like, that's mesmerizing like they used to.
They did beat Richmond last week, 21-10.
Really?
Vatech beat Richmond 21-10.
Let me get Notre Dame, man.
So what does that tell you?
Well, actually, it was 2 weeks ago, Pat. They had a bye last week, so they really had 3 weeks to get ready for this game.
Right, so they should be ready. I'm taking Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Okay, you're the only one, Irish Mike, taking Vatech of this group. I don't know what that says, but on this note, let's go ahead and get to the Bama-Texas A&M game. That's 8 o'clock tonight. That's primetime CBS. 18 points. Texas A&M is getting 18 points at home. The only question is, I think Bama wins. Can they cover the 18? That's your $100 million question.
They're playing
Texas A&M
at
Texas A&M,
and they don't have Johnny Heisman's not playing, right?
No.
So I'm going to take Alabama.
Man, their quarterback play at A&M's been bad. Their quarterback play has been really bad at A&M. Really bad.
Yeah, that's not going to work out good.
I'm taking Bama.
Yeah, Bama by 30.
Bama. What do you think, Irish Mike?
I'm gonna go with like I did the Auburn Georgia game, Pat. I think Alabama wins the game definitely, but it's only by about 15, 16 points.
All right,
so
A&M it's a coverage issue.
Yeah, because
I'll go A&M.
18.
What's 18?
Yeah, that's a lot of points.
See, that's the question with the picks. Is it's like the old Charlie Harper and Charlie Sheen's character in 2.5 Men. when asked about Allen goes, who you rooting for? I'm rooting for the team to cover because that's what I have my money on. I don't care win or lose. I just want that team to cover, either or. So, i.e., it doesn't mean who can win. It's covering. And when the point spreads are double digits, especially when they get into the 20 range. I didn't put the USC game. There is a game on. I actually just kind of like we had 9 games here to pick. There is a other good game on, and that's the USC-Utah game on tonight, too.
Who's getting the points?
I think that was USC was.
You know they got to be getting points because you don't even know who their coach is.
Said, what time's the USC game, Pat?
That game. No, that game, USC is on 8 o'clock on Fox, and USC gives Utah 3 points. And that's at USC. And that's on 8 o'clock, Fox.
So the Penn State will be over. That Penn State
Yes.
game will be over by then in Iowa, so James Franklin could see his future team play in Los Angeles.
That's the rumor. Even, yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Out to
I think
USC?
that'll happen. I'm going to go with USC in that game, guys.
All right. How about, what do you guys want? USC? I'll put it up top. 3 points. USC gives Utah 3 points.
I'm going Utah.
You want to take Utah?
They got.
Yeah.
USC got too much going on.
I know. That's what I was thinking too. Utah too.
I'm going to take USC. Thank you, Irish Mike, for calling in. That's
Guys,
the
have a great
show.
weekend, Sam.
Enjoy your weekend,
Good
gentlemen.
talking to you, Irish.
All right. Take care.
That's it, gentlemen. We'll do it again next week, and we'll see what our results are from this week. Thank you, Tamron and Dave, as always, for coming in and hacking it out. Everybody stay safe. Do not drink. Do not drive. Buckle up. Get a vaccine. Be good out there.
You're listening to WRDB, Western Reserve Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, Warren, Salem, and around the world.
Sandrock Concrete specializes in all types of concrete, driveways, sidewalks, basements, and garages. We also do stamp-colored concrete in many different designs. We do interior and exterior stonework, regular brick and block work. Sandrock Concrete is fully insured. Call Jerry Sandrock at 330-506-0013 for an estimate. Also find them on Facebook at Sandrock Concrete LLC. Sandrock Concrete, where you deal with the owner all the time.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio, take 1.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Mill Creek Golf Course is the Valley's leader for golfing fun with a practice range, short game area, and hole 55 bar and grill all on site. Mill Creek Golf Course features a friendly PGA professional staff available for instruction, along with 36 challenging holes designed by the legendary Donald Ross. Don't forget family fun night golf on Fridays and Saturdays for just $25. For details and tee times, call 330-740-7112 or go online to millcreekmetroparks.org. Miss an episode of By All Means, and you could miss a lot.
Mark, you're 100% right. He does not get enough credit around the league. He gets, obviously, Coach Calhoun and the assistants and the rest of the players here at YSU know how valuable he is. He is right now their best player on the floor, hands down.
By All Means, Tuesdays at 5, right here on Western Reserve Radio and streaming live on westernreserveradio.com.
Mill Creek Golf Course has been the Valley's leader for golfing fun since 1928. It features 36 challenging holes designed by the legendary Donald Ross and was voted a top 30 municipal facility by Golf Week in 2012. The Mill Creek Golf Shop is a certified Callaway Golf custom fitting center and it is stocked with your favorite golf apparel and accessories. Mill Creek Golf Course is now booking tee times for this year's golf season. Please call us at 330-740-7112 or online at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Sherman Gillums Jr., Paralyzed Veterans of America.
For more than 70 years, Paralyzed Veterans of America has helped hundreds of thousands of veterans get all the benefits they have earned.
Al Kovac Jr., Paralyzed Veterans of America.
We provide one-on-one support tailored to your individual needs, including healthcare advocacy, benefits support, and career assistance.
For more information, call 1-800-424-8200 or visit pva.org. A public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
The Storks are bringing me a baby brother! We can do this together!
All right, let's go!
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know!
I know!
You don't! Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No!
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this!
You will rock this!
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. Cool. Very cool. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
the most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
BestHotelRates.com works with all the top hotels in the country while delivering you great hotel and room choices for the best prices. Why wait? Go to BestHotelRates.com, enter your email address, and start shopping for your next hotel room. BestHotelRates.com, it's in the name. BestHotelRates.com.
This is the Big E Sports Show
on the Sports Map Radio Network from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios.
Here's Alyssa Walker-Campbell.
Okay, we are back. Sports Map Radio Network, the Big E Sports Show, Week 6 of the college football season. You bet it is countdown to kickoff. Red River rivalry, Oklahoma, Texas. The most anticipated rivalry, I think, in all of college football. Always brings out the best in these two teams. Hanging out with me in studio is my producer, Jack McCraw. We're going to continue our focus on the NFL. And let's talk some more about the Cowboys. In regards to Dak, what has he done differently this season?
He's lived in the pocket a lot more. And the offense has established the run game. It's almost like Ezekiel Elliott, in addition to Tony Pollard, Their run game is back to when it was when the Cowboys were winning, double-digit wins throughout the season. If the running game can continue to be what it is, Ezekiel Elliott can give you, 30 carries a game, and Tony Pollard to give you 10 to 15, and take the little bit of pressure off Dak's shoulders, because Dak can beat you. We've learned that Dak has a deep ball now. Dak Prescott can still move in the pocket. He doesn't seem hesitant like I thought he was going to be coming after an ankle injury like he had last season. He has the confidence, he has the run game, and he has the trust of his receivers with Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. And, of course, Dalton Schultz has become a huge weapon at tight end for this offense. So Dallas is clicking on all cylinders on offense, and the offensive line is staying healthy. The long-winded answer is it's not just Dak Prescott that's making this unit run, but he certainly is the key piece. It's him, the run game, receivers, offensive line, everybody is doing their part to make this Cowboys offense great.
Okay, at some point in the season, should Dak be in the MVP conversation?
As we alluded to earlier, I think right now Kyler Murray and Matthew Stafford are probably 1 and 2 as far as the MVP rankings go. It's only week 5 of the NFL season, so we still have a lot of football to go. But let's say the Cowboys win 10, 11, 12 games this year, and they could be a 2 or 3 seed in the NFC. I don't see why Dak Prescott would not be in that conversation as well. He's certainly in the realm to be comeback player of the year. He looks like a top 5 quarterback, which that's why Jerry Jones gave him that big money, is because he could lead this Dallas Cowboys team, and he is doing a phenomenal job right now. I love to see what Dak could do later on down the season.
Okay, quickly, big news this week, of course, with the Jaguars and Urban Meyer. Should they move on from him?
I think they should, but I don't think they will. I think Urban's going to stay out the season, but then he's going to leave after the season.
It'll be interesting to see how they correct that whole situation. Much more coming your way. Sports Map Radio Network. We are locked and loaded in hour 2. Come on back.
With a Bloomberg Business of Sports report, I'm Michael Barr. More than a dozen former NBA players have been charged in New York federal court. They're accused of taking part in a multi-million-dollar health insurance fraud scheme involving the NBA's benefit plan. According to an indictment unsealed in the Southern District, some names include Terrence Williams and Tony Allen. The FIFA soccer video games, which have sold hundreds of millions of copies worldwide, may cease to exist in their current form after their publisher said it was considering renaming them. Electronic Arts said that it was exploring the idea. The NFL says players' claims alleging injured players were given opioids and other painkillers to remain on the field is barred by federal labor law. That's what the league told the Northern District of California. The lawsuit was brought by NFL Hall of Famer Richard Dent, ex-QB Jim McMahon, and other retired players. And that's a Bloomberg Business of Sports report. I'm Michael Barr.
I'm looking forward to a play date with my granddaughter.
Nana! I can't wait to get together with my friends for a backyard barbecue.
If you're 65 or older, you're starting to get back to doing things you love. Did you know even healthy adults 65 and older are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia? It's a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. Help protect yourself with the Prevnar 13 pneumococcal 13 valent conjugate vaccine, diphtheria CRM 197 protein. Prevnar 13 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 13 does not protect against all strains of the disease. Ask your doctor or pharmacist today about Prevnar 13. Learn more at Prevnar13.com. Don't get Prevnar 13 if you have had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with a weakened immune system may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-866-694-9300 or visit Prevnar13.com.
Learn how thousands of smart homeowners are investing about $1 to avoid expensive home repair bills. John, a former non-customer, said, "My air conditioner broke and I had to spend $1,900 to fix it." Jeff, a customer, wrote, "My air conditioner broke and I got a new one at no out-of-pocket cost." Mary, a former non-customer, wrote, "My heating system stopped running. I had to spend $3,000 to get a new one." Lisa, a customer, wrote, "My heater stopped working. I got it fixed at no out-of-pocket cost." For about $1 a day, you can have all the major appliances and systems in your home guaranteed fixed or replaced with HSC's home warranty coverage. Call now, and the first month is free. If the lines are busy, please call back. 800-814-5615. 800-814-5615. That's 800-814-5615. 800-814-5615.
This is the Big E Sports Show on the Sports Map Radio Network. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Alyssa Walker Campbell.
Okay, welcome back. Hour 2 on this Saturday morning. Sports Map Radio Network, the Big E Sports Show. I'm Alyssa Walker Campbell. Before we get underway, we always love to connect with our audience and love to hear from you. We're live on Twitter at eRadioSports, info at eRadioSports.com, podcastarena.com. And you know what? We make it so easy. You can download our app, Sports Map Radio, for the very best in sports programming. Well, the NFL conversation, it does continue, and it is hard to believe. We're in week 5 of the season, and there are so many storylines we're going to hit on in our next segment. Of course, the Rams and the Seahawks, they were in action on Thursday night. And we're going to focus in this next segment on the Eagles, who are going to be on the road to face the 3-1 Panthers. 12 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. And we're so thrilled to have with us. He is a 10-year NFL legend. We love him. He's from the great state of Texas, Houston area. He played for the Eagles and the Seahawks. That is all-pro cornerback Bobby Taylor, who is partnering with Gen Youth and the NFL Flag in Schools program to launch the NFL Flag in Schools Coach of the Year Award. And guess what? They want your participation. So you're going to find all about this initiative with Bobby. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Alyssa. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's start off our conversation talking about your Eagles. They are actually 1-3. Just give us an assessment of this slow start. I mean, we're in the first month of the season. What are your takeaways? What's going on?
Well, it's been tough. You know, we have a new coach after Doug Peterson being there. He brought a Super Bowl back to Philly, which was well-deserved, but we're kind of like in a rebuild mode to a certain degree. And so it was a tough loss on Sunday. I was actually there because my old coach, Andy Reid, who now coaches for the Kansas City Chiefs, was coming back to town. And, you know, I was pretty torn as far as, you know, who I really, really, really wanted to cheer for. I think at the end of the day, of course, I bleed green, and I wanted the Eagles to get the victory. And I think, you know, under Jalen Hurts being the quarterback, I think he played well. But, you know, there wasn't a punt. There wasn't one punt in Sunday's game versus the Chiefs. And so, you know, we couldn't stop them. They couldn't really stop us. We had some unfortunate penalties. 2 touchdowns were called back because of penalties made by our offense. And so, you know, they're going on the road this week, going down to Carolina. You know, those guys have been playing very well this year. And so hopefully, you know, we can put it all together, put some of those self-inflicted wounds from a penalty standpoint behind us, and hopefully we can stop their offense and get a victory on Sunday.
10-year NFL legend, the great Bobby Taylor, is with us this morning at Sports Map Radio Network, the Big E Sports Show, all-pro cornerback. And as you reflect, you know, talking about the Eagles' performance last week, unfortunately they were torched by the Chiefs, but Jalen Hurts, I'm a Sooner, very proud, so we're definitely tracking him. Talk to me about Jalen. I mean, he had a very impressive performance, 32 of 48, a career high, 387 yards and 2 touchdowns. He posted some incredible numbers. He gives Eagle fans a lot of hope for the future.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan. I know he's a Texas guy as well. So, you know, anytime those Texas guys can get on the highest level, I try to root for them, especially Jalen playing for my former team, the Eagles. And I'm a big fan of his, and I hope that the Eagles can put a lot of energy as far as the players that they want to surround him with. Like you said, he had a career game, and just think about it. Two of his touchdowns were called back. And so I just think that he has the right mindset. He definitely has the physical tools to be able to excel at the highest level. I kind of see him in the mold of a Russell Wilson out with the Seahawks. And so, you know, I just hope that he keeps on doing what he's doing. And, you know, I'm a big fan of his.
Bobby Taylor, 10-year NFL legend, all-pro cornerback, played college ball at Notre Dame, where he was an All-American, and played professionally for the Philadelphia Eagles and also for the Seattle Seahawks. It is interesting, you bring up that you played for the Eagles for Andy Reid. So can you share, Bobby, just the impact that he had on you and how he developed you into an all-pro cornerback?
Yeah, you know what I love about Andy is that, first of all, he's a great coach himself from an X's and O's standpoint, from being able to put together a great staff to be able to motivate guys to go out there and, you know, play for your teammate and be successful from that standpoint. But I think one of the things that Andy really should get more credit for is the type of assistant coaches that coach up under his coaching tree. When you think about guys like Bill Walsh, like Bill Parcells, they always talk about their coaching trees. But Andy Reid has some great coaches that were former position coaches on his staff. When you look at Ron Rivera, who's in Washington, when you look at Sean McDermott, who's with the Bills, all of those guys were former position coaches under Andy's staff. John Harbaugh in Baltimore. And so, you know, he's a guy that's not afraid to hire great talent that will probably eventually be hired as head coaches one day.
You know, Bobby, you played in the NFL for 10 years. You were healthy for the most part. What was the key to your longevity in the league?
You know what? I think coming in, being able to get around some great veterans that really showed me how to be a pro, whether it was studying, whether it was taking care of my body, and all of those things. And then I would say blessed to a certain degree. I think that has something to do with it as well. And so, you know, when you are playing at the highest level, you want to give yourself the best chance to try to be successful out there on the field and doing all of those things, because we hear about now a lot of these guys are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and even up to $1 million on nutrition, staff from a masseuse and different things of that nature, personal chefs, just to make sure that they're putting the right type of fuel inside of their body so they can get the results during game day.
All-pro cornerback, the great Bobby Taylor, is with us at Sports Map Radio Network, the Big East Sports Show. One more quick hit before we talk about this exciting initiative with the NFL. We've got to shine a spotlight on your son, Bobby Taylor Jr., 5-star recruit, 2022, and he has committed to Texas A&M, which, oh, by the way, they're hosting a big opponent this weekend in College Station against Alabama. So your son helped Katie to a state title last year. I know you're so proud. And just talk about, you know, what this means for your family.
Oh, it means a lot. I mean, Bobby has worked hard. Everything that he's getting right now, it's all because of his own hard work. And, you know, I'm just excited to be able to sit back and, you know, watch all of that hard work pay off and, you know, watch his path to the successes that he set for himself, the different goals and things of that nature. I mean, he said a long time ago that he wanted to be able to hustle and work hard to be able to get a scholarship, and that has come to fruition. And, you know, I'm just, you know, loving the process thus far.
Oh, and he's following in your footsteps. How cool is that? We could talk for half an hour, but we've only got so much time, and we are up against the clock. So let's talk about, you've partnered up with Gen Youth and the NFL Flag in Schools program to launch the NFL Flag in Schools Coach of the Year Award. You know, why was this initiative? Why was it important for you to team up with them?
Oh, it's very important because coaches have played a big part of my life. They've impacted my life on the field, off the field. There are still coaches that coached me in high school that I stay in contact to this day to talk to about, you know, advice and different things of that nature. But, yes, this is a great initiative. I mean, I want anybody that's listening to go to flag.genyouthnow.org. Submissions are open to October 13th for their they've partnered with the NFL Flag in Schools to present the Coach of the Year Award for coaches, for PE teachers. And so if you've had a coach that has impacted your life at your school or in the youth program that you're a part of, please nominate them. We've had some great submissions thus far, but we want to make it hard on our staff as far as trying to figure out who we're going to give this award to.
Very good. One more time before we go to break, direct our listeners where they can go to nominate their favorite sports coach and PE teachers for the 2021-2022 season.
Go to flag.genyouthnow.org. Flag.genyouthnow.org.
What an honor to have with us this morning at Sports Map Radio Network. That is Bobby Taylor, NFL legend, all-pro cornerback, of course, played for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Seattle Seahawks. You take care, and we look forward to another conversation real soon. Thank you, Bobby.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Stick around. Much more coming your way here in Hour 2.
Coast to coast! My mother-in-law is 90. She has less problems than Carson Wentz. She drinks Jameson. She smokes fatties. She gambles in the casino. Your boy Wentz is like 105 with all his maladies, his feet, his head. Honestly, I can't even take it. They should have a soap opera about this guy. The Days of Wentz.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
The Dave Smith Show.
I don't understand. What is so difficult about knowing when and when not to use your timeouts? If you use your timeouts properly, you can get 1 to 2 extra possessions a game, and that is the difference. If you create more possessions than the opponent, you're going to win. And why is it that I'm the only one who understands this? It's just perplexing to me, and I've made this offer for years to any NFL team, and I'm serious about this. Any National Football League team that hires me as their clock management coach, and I sit up in the press box with direct communication to the coach. I'm not involved in game planning or strategy, none of that. Just clock management. I'll do it for $1 million a year, and I guarantee you'll win an extra 3 games a year. Any team in the National Football League. And that $1 million is a bargain. Because if I'm winning you an extra 3 games, that could be the difference between making and not making the playoffs. I should be asking for $10 million a year. That would still be a bargain.
The Dave Smith Show. Weekends at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Sports Map Radio Network.
Are you thinking that it's time to start looking for a new car? Then go to automotivemap.com to see the latest auto news, find out about what's ahead for your favorite brands, and learn how much that new car will cost you. AutomotiveMap.com is your place to see reviews, check out the hottest exotic cars, read tales from the road, and get acquainted with the luxury automotive lifestyle. Into hot mods? Want to see the cars celebrities drive? Love a good restoration job? From off-roading to on-roading, AutomotiveMap.com has it covered. Visit AutomotiveMap.com today.
Wake up call! Vic Fangio was very upset about the Baltimore Ravens running on the last play of the game to extend their 100-yard rushing streak. So Vic Fangio said he thought it was crap. John Harbaugh defended this. He said, well, they threw in the end zone with 10 seconds remaining, and last time I checked, there wasn't a 16-point touchdown. That's awesome.
They had Lamar Jackson run the ball.
Can you imagine if Lamar Jackson got hurt?
If he got hurt on that play? I mean, John Harbaugh would be wishing to have Urban Meyer's life right now.
Oh, no doubt. If Lamar Jackson was out for the season, and he went to that press conference, and they went, why were you running the ball with no... And he was like, well, we had a streak going on of 100. Everybody in the media going, really? You do?
You know John Harbaugh was someplace like, yeah, I got video of me and some blonde girl. Do we want to talk about this instead?
Wake up call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 Eastern.
This is the Big E Sports Show on the Sports Map Radio Network. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Alyssa Walker Campbell.
Okay, here we go on this Saturday morning. It is Countdown to Kickoff at Sports Map Radio Network, the Big E Sports Show. And when you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com. It is just a few clicks away. They offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. You can order online at O'ReillyAuto.com and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store, and they'll even bring it out to you curbside. See, they make it so easy. Or you can choose to have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Get your parts quickly at O'ReillyAuto.com. Well, there are so many fascinating matchups today, week 6 of the college football season, but there is nothing like the Red River rivalry on the second Saturday in October that gets you fired up. So here to provide his expert analysis and insight is truly one of our favorite Longhorns from the CBS Sports Network, and that is the great Brian Jones. Good morning, Brian.
Big E, how are you?
All good. It's great to connect with you. We've got a lot of ground to cover and only so much time, so I'm going to get right to it because there's so much anticipation for certainly one of the biggest games of the college football season. But you played the linebacker position at the University of Texas. I mean, what does OU Texas mean to you personally?
Well, first of all, it's sacrilegious for me to be conversing with you on the morning before this momentous.
We'll make an amendment to the rule.
Oh, okay. We're gonna make an amendment this year. That game, we talk about it every year. You and I, we discussed it, and it's indescribable. And for our head coach, Steve Sarkisian, get his first bite at this Red River rivalry apple. It has to be very, let's say, he's got to be excited and probably some anxiety as well. Although the man has played and coached in some big ball games himself, being at USC and winning national titles and, of course, winning national titles with Alabama, he's used to these huge environments and games. But this one is uniquely different in its own right, so it should be fun. And as a linebacker, I always tell the story. My first one, I transferred from UCLA and had played in UCLA and USC rivalry. That one can't touch this one. Of course, the atmosphere is half and half. And just running out there on that field, I was hyperventilating. Next thing I know, Mike Gaddison got over 200 yards.
Oh, yes,
in
Mike.
the first quarter, it seemed like. And I said, okay, well, let me calm down. So I tell everyone, coaches are like, just chill out and try to make it as difficult as it is. Make it seem as though it's just another ball game. But that's a tough task.
CBS Sports college football analyst, the great Brian Jones, is with us at Sports Map Radio Network. And since you are being a little nostalgic, I wanted you to take us back as far as, what is that tunnel experience like?
Oh.
Because you are you're so fired up to see your fellow competitor, in the Crimson and Cream. And when that adrenaline hits you, I just have to wonder, how did your coaches coach you through it? Because you've got to manage your emotions and you've got to manage that adrenaline.
Well, I just said a moment ago, you have to make it feel as though it's a regular game. However, that whole week, they're pumping Boomer Sooner through the speakers at practice, in the locker room. So you already know it's a different week. So, therefore, you roll out there and you feel like you're floating. At least I did. Felt like I was floating coming down that ramp. And if you recall, Big E, back then, both teams exited the locker room and headed to the field shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
And I'm not allowed to say what was the ongoing conversation entailed heading down that ramp. There weren't a lot of niceties. Let's just say that.
Oklahoma, Texas, an emotional game. It is a hostile environment as Brian Jones is breaking it all down. So what is the key? I mean, is it, coming out swinging, getting physical, and hitting early and often?
I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair, as a lot of them have been here recently. Texas's defense, especially the linebackers, they leave a lot to be desired. As Grandma would say, bless their heart. They're trying, but they overrun too many plays. They're not as physical as I would like to see them play on a consistent basis. Up front, their disruptiveness, if you will, is infrequent, but they do get after it. The secondary, they're going to be challenged going up against Spencer Rattler and an offense, or quarterback, I should say, that can extend plays. And by the same token, the OU defense will be challenged by Casey Thompson, who can extend plays. And he's coming off his worst game last weekend versus TCU, still made some plays when he needed to. And what I really liked about Texas's outcome last week, Big E, is the fact that they were able to run the ball with about 4 minutes left on the clock to close out that victory. They didn't give TCU another chance to score on that defense, so they did what they needed to do. And Bijan Robinson is a beast. He is a top-notch, bona fide, top 5 running back at the next level, and he is this offense for the most part. I just hate that he's getting hit so early and often. It's usually in the backfield or right at the line of scrimmage. And you look at OU defensively, there's some holes in their secondary. You look at the K-State tape, as I did, and Skylar Thompson was able to hit his guys downfield when he had the time. And that's going to be the key for Texas. Will their offensive line be able to hold up? Left tackle, man, that's a work in progress. I feel for that kid over there, Christian Jones. I asked him to change his last name because of the way he's been playing. I'm just joking, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. I know that's y'all's baby, but wow, he's been taking some licks, and he's going to be better off forward, hopefully, down the road. Let's just hope he can hold up. If he can, Texas should be able to move the rock, passing the ball as well. But that defense, that number 90, 95, they look good for OU. And Nick Benito at the linebacker position, I think he has 3 sacks in the last 2 versus my Longhorn, and he's fast.
Yeah.
I've seen this guy chase down plays on the opposite side of the field. He's got some wheels, and he's going to be one of those cats that plays a ton at the next level as well.
So, Brian, let's talk about the new head coach and Steve Sarkisian. What is your belief as far as what they've been since, a month of the body of work? Are they trending towards a Big 12 title? I mean, that was an impressive win over TCU late in the game. I mean, that's the first time they beat TCU since 2018, 32-27.
Yeah, right. TCU 2-7 going into that ball game, or 7-2, I should say, going into that ball game versus Texas. He's doing what I like, and that's depending on the run game. It starts there. We were just having this discussion on one of our shows at CBS Sports Network early in the week. We were discussing Ole Miss and all these bells and whistles and all these exotic play calling. But it all comes back to the trenches, blocking and tackling, being able to run the rock. Ole Miss, you won't see all that exotic play calling if they can't establish a running game. And that's what Sark is doing. And that's what OU has always done. And this year, maybe not so much, but it's always been about balance on the offense. That's what Lincoln Riley covets. That's what Steve Sarkisian wants as well for Texas. But he has the right mindset to come in here and turn this thing around. And it's going to start with that running game. He, of course, has to get his type of players there. And when he came in, Biggie, he took an assessment of that roster, and he couldn't believe there were as many wide receivers on there and not enough offensive linemen and defensive linemen, because everything emanates from the trenches. And so that's what he has to shore up. And I believe that's where he's going to focus on in these recruiting classes. So he's the right man for the job. And if they get past this one this weekend, today, that'll go a long way with helping propel this team for another opportunity to win a conference championship. It's going to be tough duty, but they're trending in the right direction. And he, just like Lincoln Riley, they're outstanding, exquisite play callers. These guys know how to, find the mismatches and exploit those mismatches. So it's going to be a cool chess match watching both of these guys go to work against each other.
Okay, so Brian, how should we feel about your young, dynamic quarterback in Casey Thompson? I mean, he's born into a family of football, a lot of tradition. You're talking about Mike Gaddis. That's going way back to the 90s. But what about Charles Thompson, the quarterback at Oklahoma? I remember him well.
Right. Yeah, you're right. He's a heck of a pedigree coming from Charles Thompson, his pops, who's a damn good quarterback.
Yes.
I like his style. I like the way he carries himself. He's a smooth operator out there. As I said a moment ago, he's coming off his worst game, missed some deep shots, almost got Jordan Whittington decapitated on one crossing route. But, yeah, he still went out there and played his game. He could use his wheels. He ran off, I think it was about